Konbanwa, everybody. This is the LaserDisc Wolfpack THX CAV Limited. Did they have THX anime disc? We're talking anime this time. It's the podcast. You know you love it. We're talking anime this time. What's going on, everybody? We did not plan this. Well, we sort of planned it, but we didn't want to tell you about it. It's a secret episode. You guys have been asking for an anime episode for ages, and we're shaking it up a little bit this time. But I still have my right-hand man right over here. The man who drove his bike into a pile of laser discs and gained insanely powerful psychokinetic powers in the process. We should probably talk to him before he mutates into a giant trapper keeper. Ryan Cushing.
Thanks, Sam. I also managed to level up my stamina twice. So less energy drinks and more just active conversation, or not.
Wow.
So I know, right? I'm going to pass it off to Mike.
Mike.
Hello, everyone. I run a YouTube channel called Maison Otaku. We talk about, anime and stuff like that. If you like, long pedantic ramblings about niche obscura were your go-tos. And if any of our 12 fans are watching, you can just count this as our semi-annual We're Not Dead video.
Like it. And Chris, what's going on?
I'm just kind of hanging out. You guys said anime. I live and breathe anime. I've been around the community for a couple of years, like 10 years now,
right.
In and out. And I have lots and lots of anime behind me. I don't know if you can even see it, but I just knocked a bunch of it over. And I will pick it up as we get to talking about it. Hopefully nothing got broken.
I do that every episode. I put all my beloved laser discs and things around me, and then I wheel my chair into them. They fall over
and crunch.
And I just I destroy all my belongings. Yes.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
Good corners when you have a wheelie chair.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll buy you new laser discs or whatever you need.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so we're mixing it up. We got our new friends here joining us, and we're going to talk about anime. And it's one of the kind of things that led me into the world of LaserDisc. And we might be branching out and talking about other formats as the show progresses. But we're going to keep it fast and loose, just like myself. But anyways, quick questions. How did everybody get into anime in general? You want to go, Ryan? Are you into anime?
Yeah, so mine was the gateway drug, Transformers. I had been a Transformers fan since I was a child, and once I started getting into LaserDiscs, then I had to get into Transformers, and that just kind of opened up a Pandora's box, and I picked up some other cool stuff. And now it's when I pick up collections, if the cover looks cool, that's usually enough. It sounds bad, but it's hey, this looks cool or ridiculous or sounds amazing, so why not? So that's kind of how it is. I have a shotgun approach of, if I see something cool and it comes my way, cool, and if not, I missed it and I have no idea what you're talking about, so it works out. How about you, Mike?
Actually not too different. In fact, that's actually a very legit approach. I got most of my collection just because I've never heard of this and has really cool cover art. So, granted, I found some stinkers that way, but that's half the fun.
Yeah.
But I was always into animation, and I was one of those little edgelords who was why aren't these bullets hitting anyone? Why is everyone magically jumping out of their planes with parachutes in time? And then my cousin shows me 80 Police Files, and if you've ever seen that, that's a good old violence era anime, and I'm cartoons can do that. So that's about where that got started. And then of course, not too long after that, I moved to a new neighborhood in the early 2000s, right around when the DVD boom hit, not too far away from a half-price book. So I bought everyone's VHS collection for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is how you do it. What about you, Chris? What was your gateway?
You want the long version or the short version?
We got time if you want to wax nostalgic.
So it started almost everything in my life. My laser discs, my taste in film, my love for movies can be traced back to my dad. And my dad actually got all of his children into anime in the early 2000s.
Good parenting.
There was a library nearby that had a good selection of anime DVDs. He brought home Princess Mononoke. He
Nice.
showed us Fruits Basket. Oh, it was mostly for my sisters. I didn't cut my teeth on Fruits Basket, but I was in the same room.
Sure.
And I didn't like buy into it, but I was around it. The computer was in the same room where you could see the TV that they watched it on. Okay. So my dad got us into Studio Ghibli and more shoujo anime. And then I kind of diverged when I got to middle school. I kind of had this gap, and then in middle school I pick it up. I get into Death Note, I get into Code Geass, I get into period appropriate mid 2000s, late 2000s anime. And then I drop off the face of the earth, forget anime exists. And then I find the DVD of Princess Mononoke that my dad purchased. It's got to be 10 years ago from then. At that point, I fell in love with the movie all over again. I called up the Good Squid Discs, Mr. Kevin Kobos himself. I ordered a copy of it. I think I got that and Jerry Maguire in the same package. That's the story of my hunt for the best versions of every Tom Cruise movies for another time. But
nice.
But I picked up, and actually it's somewhere in my vast chasm of discs behind me. I picked up the LaserDisc of Princess Mononoke. I then went on a quest with my high school budget to get all of the Studio Ghibli discs. I hooked up with guys from like the LaserDisc database forums, and I hooked up with guys on Facebook. I tried to comb everything. I was operating with like negative money in high school. I didn't have anything, so I had to cut deals. That's also where I picked up on the idea of using a Genlock to get subtitles, although I wouldn't get to that till about 5 years later.
Nice.
And then basically I had just Ghibli. And then at one point I bought Cowboy Bebop because I thought that looked rad.
Nice.
And then I got a Zen Market account during my first year of teaching straight out of college. And you can basically get anime for like $3 for like huge lots of just like hundreds of discs, because anime was just predominant out there and they're overflowing with it. So I said, flow into my direction. And I spent a huge chunk of my first and second year salary on hardware to get subtitles over my LaserDiscs. And I have a shitload of anime. And it's kind of been the only thing that I branch out in these days. I don't poke my head too often into LaserDisc Forever or any of the other groups, but when an anime sale pops up, Kobos runs an anime sale, I get my head back in the game.
Nice. All right. I guess I have to explain my my anime addiction too. All right. I kind of was trained before I even knew what I was watching from all the stuff that was ported over here in the States back in the day. Obviously Star Blazers, Battle of the Planets, and so I was kind of watching Yamato and Gatchaman without really knowing what was going on, and of course Voltron. And I was also into comics pretty hard, and there was a comics collector magazine or something that was doing a piece about manga and anime, and had all these space adventure Cobra images and all this stuff in there. I'm like, oh, I need more of whatever the hell all this stuff is. And they were talking about Macross, and then around the same time they were trying to port Macross over here in the States pre-Robotech. It was like kind of like you could buy a tape for like it was like $70 or something for a tape out of a Starlog magazine or something you could send in for. I didn't get it, and I was buying all the model kits at the time because they were there was the Robotech line of models over here in the States before the show was around, and they were porting over like Orgus bots and Macross bots and stuff. So I was buying those all the time. And then, I just happened to pop open a TV guide one day and saw Robotech at like 4 a.m. in one of my local stations. And I was like, oh, it's on. I was like, if the model kits are ports of Macross models, then this show might be a port of Macross. And, so I once I jumped into that, there was, no stopping. And then from that point on, going to conventions and picking up, bootlegs and stuff like that. And obviously I learned quickly that all these VHS bootlegs I was getting, they were all just dubs of Japanese laser discs that were imported. And these guys in shops were just, running off copies of them left and right. So I thought, well, maybe I can start cutting out the middleman. getting them myself, and that's pretty much what made me want to start picking up LaserDiscs in 93-ish, something like that. And then I realized how much they cost to import back then. And then yeah, I kind of laid off for a while. And then, but like Chris said, I found out that nowadays you can get some amazing deals on them. So that really kind of jump started my collection and made me start picking up like whole series and stuff like that. So it's a great time to be buying the discs, and they look fantastic on LaserDisc as well. And of course, I might have some Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff too. Don't judge me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How many do you have, Ryan? You've got like thousands of LaserDiscs. Do you have like a decent sized collection, or?
I probably have like 75 things, maybe.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I pick up random stuff, and sometimes it's a box set, and if it looks cool, I keep it, and if it doesn't, I just throw it on eBay and hope somebody else wants it.
Yeah. Mike, how did you trip across LaserDisc? Because I know you had a player, right? Or at least maybe you do still.
Yeah, no, I have a couple. I have like one in my living room, one in the room, and then like a backup one. Actually, it's funny. I just like, I think I was like born like at some old grognard or something, because I'm just looking at this like, oh, old massive quotes crap technology. Yeah, I'm into that. So the way I actually started getting anime LaserDisc, I stopped, again at half price books, and for like $2, actually screw it, I was gonna do an honorable mention to this anyway. This is my very first LaserDisc, My Neighbor Totoro import at half price books for like $3. It's actually
about what
survived a house fire, so it has some battle damage on there. But yeah, I actually had this before I had a player for like several months, and saved up for a player. Ended up getting the main one I use in my living room is one of the industrial ones, CLD V2800. Yeah.
Those things just keep on going though.
That's a little tank of a player.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I love it. It's a great CD player too.
Yeah. Those things are just
That's actually my
powerhouses.
dedicated CD player.
Nice. So yeah, you're prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably collect also VHS still and DVD and Blu-ray and stuff too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My admittedly my LaserDisc collection's pretty small. It's only about like 30-40 units maybe, but across everything, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I have some betas, some CEDs, a whole bunch of crazy stuff, some freaking video 8 cassettes.
CEDs.
I have I think 2,000-ish units.
Wow, damn! You gotta get into VHD next. That's the new hot thing.
Oh, no.
Dude, have you seen the stuff they're doing with digital tape?
No.
Like modern digital tape?
No.
They have like, oh god, I forget. It's like a couple hundred terabytes.
Oh yeah, you can put like a 6-hour digital tape in there, and the bandwidth, depending on the bandwidth of the tape, it's crazy. I mean, it's like tape drive technology in general. Just because we don't think about it doesn't mean it isn't still relevant.
I love how it didn't go away.
It's coming back, kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the primary format of archiving everything. So.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm more of an M-disc fan, but that's me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mostly just have. I still have a couple VHS tapes kicking around, but it's mostly LaserDisc and DVD and Blu-ray, and But I don't know. Most of the time, I just watch my LaserDisc because anime looks fantastic on LD anyway. So, like Cowboy Bebop, I still like the 99. Mostly they come out 99 on lasers. I like those better than the DVD ports that came out over here in the States around the same time, and it's got PCM audio on there versus the Dolby Digital 2.0 on the DVDs. And
there's something about
the remix DVDs are nice.
Yeah, the 5.1. Yeah, good point. I can't argue with that.
The lossless stereo on the LaserDisc is just. And I'll tell you. So I sometimes will have friends over to watch my LaserDiscs of anime with me, which I know is not something that everybody does. And we watched an episode of Sailor Moon Saturday night, and
now that's a party.
Yeah, we threw on I think a set of DVD subtitles through the Genlock, and we watched the pilot episode. And it's not a great looking LaserDisc, but there's something that my friend said that stuck with me. He says that there's something about watching 90s anime on the original home video format, on the CRT, with the colors of the CRT and the colors of the LaserDisc that just DVD just can't match in 2020. There's a certain sense of authenticity. And it's one thing for me to say it with like 600 anime LaserDiscs, and it's another thing for someone else to notice that. So when you're talking about Cowboy Bebop, I can totally see those transfers holding up really well versus like the DVD.
I used to watch I used to watch stuff with my friends too, and I would force them to because I didn't have a Genlock back in the day, so I just forced them to watch. We call it raw dogging, just watch the Japanese and figure it out. And we're all just, a bunch of kids hanging around yelling at the screen. So we kind of worked out what was going on between ourselves. And, the one of us that had watched that episode of Dirty Pair 10 times already would be like, all right, well, this is this betting thing, and they're shooting asteroids at this planet, and you kind of bet on which sector it lands on. And, we kind of all figure it out amongst ourselves. So
I know exactly what episode you're talking about.
Yeah, I knew Mike would.
I've never seen
That's
Dirty
a good
Pair.
one.
Am I a poser?
Oh, it's a...
Yeah, you
no,
should get
but
into Dirty Pair.
It's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Dirty Pair's
definitely
extra good because Dirty Pair is extra good because it's a really easy sell to non-anime fans. That and Crusher Joe. So I've shown them to people that aren't into anime, and they're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Yeah, I think I have some Crusher Joe right over here somewhere. Do I? Yeah, baby.
Of course.
Yeah. Gotta keep this handy. But yeah, it's fun
Chris
stuff.
Obi.
Yeah, gorgeous stuff. But like Chris said, you use Genlock, and that's can you explain to the kids out there like the basic process of that device?
There was a lot of different names for it, and I was actually going to hopefully talk about this in a whole chunk of time, but I'll start now, and hopefully in 3 hours you'll have understood everything. So
sure, yeah, keep it going. Yeah,
we're talking about how you went to conventions and you bought tapes of translated, subtitled anime, and you knew that it was just people going straight from the LaserDisc, and they were just overdubbing it. So what they used is they used a device in the early 90s. It was like the Amiga. They used what was called a video toaster. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the tech, but there was a couple of different devices. It was basically broadcasting equipment used by television stations that would overlay a VGA computer signal onto an analog video signal, and it would mix the two. And depending on the device you're using and the software you're using, you can chroma key out all of the black and only show things on the screen that aren't black. You can mix and match the size of the different objects. You can put things in one corner or flip it around and put it in the other. The complexity of it depends on the hardware mostly. So I actually figured out what a Genlock was from a LaserDisc database forum post by a user named Publius.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yep. Yeah. Is it Christopher Carson? Carson.
So,
I think is his name?
I think Carson. Yeah.
He talked about how he had a veritable archival library of LaserDiscs of anime, and how he would go to conventions and show them, and he would run them using a Genlock. And I actually, a couple of years ago, when I first got into anime LaserDiscs, I hit him up pretty hard for as much knowledge as I could about that. And he pointed me in a few different directions. And I also went off on a couple of my own. And unfortunately, all of the Genlock devices, these are standalone like set-top boxes that he recommended. I actually found a couple, but I couldn't get any of them to work. One of them didn't have a power adapter. The other one, it couldn't do anything without the software, and the software doesn't even exist on the Wayback Machine. So I struck out on my own, and I found a company called Magna Systems.
Nice.
Magna Systems, they developed a set of set-top boxes that are literally rack-mounted devices for broadcasting networks. And these retailed for thousands of dollars.
Yep.
You know, they were being sold to TV stations,
Yep.
you know, down in your downtown area. They were being sold to production studios in the 80s and 90s. The models that I have the MCP 2450 and the MCP 601, which I'm holding right here. These are first one's from the late 90s. This one is from the early 2000s. The company folded around 2011, so there actually wasn't any, like, if you do a Google search, you're not going to find anything on these particular devices. So the story goes is I just bought all 3 boxes of Evangelion, and it was my first time going through it, and I really wanted to get subtitles, and so I had one of these boxes, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. There's no indication of what to do on the front of the box, and on the back, you've got a whole bunch of like BNC inputs. There's a serial RS-232 port. There's some USB knobs. This one has DVI compatibility, though I never got around to using it for DVI. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, and there's no documentation. And so I gave up. Like, I actually physically put this in my car, drove it to the local recycling center, and I was about to get rid of it.
Damn.
And I think I had gotten rid of a broken LaserDisc player and a couple of pieces of stereo equipment. And I looked at this, and actually in my head, I'm seeing the one that's hooked up in my setup right now. But I looked at one of these, and I decided I wanted to give it another shot. You know, I didn't invest in them. I think I paid $40 for one of them and $80 for the other. And I took it home. And I was a shot in the dark. I went to the Wayback Machine, and I put in a website that was on one of the stickers on the bottom of one of the boxes.
Nice.
Just shot in the dark out there, and they actually had like 200 archived images of the magnasystems.com website.
Nice.
And one of them had the software for both of these boxes. As far as I can tell, there's no software for any of their other devices. So I really just got lucky in finding the software. Of course, I didn't have any of the right cabling, so I bought a USB to serial cable so I could communicate with it. You had to like write like a DOS, like floppy disk, and like write some weird serial bullshit so that it would like be able to speak to it. And finally, after like 2 days, I was home alone, so I just like razor focused on this.
Picturing a montage scene.
Yeah,
equations floating by your head, and yeah.
Yeah, they're playing "You've Got the Touch."
Yeah, exactly.
In the background. Yeah. You can hear the keyboard solo from "Jump" by Van Halen.
All right, excellent.
And so finally, I got everything in place. I wouldn't say the software is the most robust or comprehensive thing I've ever seen, but you can clearly see, and maybe at some point I can zoom in from the laptop that I use the software on and show you guys a little bit more how it works. But you can set it to key blackout, and then I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this, but the subtitling program that they use to create the Genlock subtitles for the VHS tapes that you saw is called Substation Alpha. And it's a Windows program from like the 16-bit 98 era. Last time it was updated was like 2003 or 4. But basically, what I do is I take subtitles from a collection that's been passed around to different LaserDisc collectors.
Yeah, those things make the rounds. I've been hearing people doing backdoor, kind of networking.
I don't know if you've ever gotten your hands on that collection of subtitles. I mean, you don't have a Genlock, right?
Not yet, but I do know. I know the people to mess with to get those in my hands if I have to.
Yeah. So what it is the program literally takes a pre-timed, pre-written set of subtitles, and it just plays it in bright yellow text over black. You use the Genlock to chroma key out the black layer of the screen, and then it just spits the bright yellow subtitles onto your 4x3 analog CRT. And some of them have the correct timings for the LaserDiscs.
This I've heard about, yeah.
Evangelion, there is a full set of like the first 20 episodes. There's actually a liner note in like the last episode they did that said, hey, this got licensed for DVD, so we're done. We're not doing any more subtitling as a group because it's going to be out soon. They actually have the sync point in frames for where you need to start the LaserDisc at the same time as the subtitle file so that it plays perfectly in sync. And For things like Sailor Moon, where there's nothing, I downloaded a DVD subtitle off of a Russian website.
What could go wrong?
And well, I can try to legitimize that a little bit later.
Sure.
So I have, there's a really good collection of English anime subtitles on this Russian database, and I grabbed Sailor Moon, and they don't line up with anything that I can figure out from the beginning, but Sailor Moon episodes, the first line of dialogue is like, "Hi, this is my name, and I'm 14 years old." So I find that line in the subtitles. I start it from that line, and then I have to like play like a razor sharp timing game, like almost like a rhythm game, and just smack the space bar at the right time to get it in line. And sometimes I yell "fuck" and have to rewind the LaserDisc and try it again, like I'm shooting darts and I'm going for the bullseye.
I just got a great idea for a new indie game.
Yes. Genlock Hero.
Yes.
So basically, if you want the most complicated possible way to watch anime with English subtitles in the entire world, come to my birthday party.
All right.
And I will show you the ridiculous amount of effort that is 100% not worth it, but at the same time 100% is, because to me it's like a piece of history.
It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people doing it. I can understand why, but I'm carrying the banner for a generation of college dorm dwelling anime fans who made their own discs in the 90s.
Yeah, and I remember back in my VHS days, before even fan subs were readily available, we used to do the old tradition of getting the books that were either sold or handed out at conventions, of just all the fan translations just bound together in one big ass book, and then you just kind of read along and be like, oh, that's what this episode's about. So this is the next step. I appreciate the effort put into.
Yeah, it was a labor of love, and I figured out how it worked, and then my collection just blossomed, because I was like, all right, bam, 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 I can get subtitles for these. Let's do this, And now I have like 300 or 400 anime LaserDiscs spread across dozens of series.
And
so,
there's some. Oh, sorry.
What about the side breaks? Do you have to like jam the space bar and like wait patiently?
The way it's so there's subtitles for individual episodes, and they'll run for just the course of one episode. So typically, your LaserDisc is going to have 2 episodes per side, 2 sides per disc, 4 episodes. So I will literally just pause in the middle with the LaserDisc player, either convert or queue up the next subtitle file, and then I will find the sync point if I know it already, and then I'll just start the next episode. It's a little more complicated with movies, understandably. If there's already a couple of pretty good pre-existing LaserDisc timed subtitles, like I have the original fan subtitles for the Royal Space Force movie.
Ooh, nice.
Wings of Honeyamase.
Wings of Mayonnaise.
Never heard of it. I got the bargain basement version.
Yeah, I have the fancy big old CAD
the nice
version.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, there's subtitles for this exact pressing of the movie in the Script Club folder. And it's got like multi-layered subtitling in different colors, and it's got the sync point at the beginning of it's spread across 5 sides.
Damn. All right.
So there's literally 5 different files that you have to queue up. So when I said it was the least convenient means possible, I wasn't kidding. I've queued up, and I've actually had to split subtitle files for like Lupin the Third movies.
Nice.
At least 1 or 2 of them, because I watched them, of course. And that was like just, I have a different version of that.
Nice.
But respect.
Yeah.
I have too much time on my hands, and this is what I choose to waste it on. And I love it. And I could talk for the next 6 hours about the nonsense I've had to deal with. Getting these goddamn subtitles.
There's some good threads that people are on the Laserdisc Forever page too, if you want to do some searches for Genlock, other people's trials and tribulations with trying to get it up and running. So if you might want to cut through some of the hassle yourself and kind of pick up what people have done and
and I've thought about for years just putting together a video of the process and how it works, but I just haven't sat down to do it yet.
What? Come on.
Life is
doing
busy.
videos is so easy. It'll take 2 minutes. Yeah.
Listen, you try to cut a 20-minute video and it takes 2-3 days to edit minimum. So
Amen. Yeah.
and you write a script and then it's like, wow, this script sucks. Jesus Christ. I didn't know I was writing a David Lynch movie about subtitling anime.
Yeah. And I just want to say too, like, a lot of me is glad that I got into collecting anime when I did at the turn of the century, when this stuff was like everywhere and cheap. But a significant part of me does wish I was around for that stuff, because that was, just a hair before my time. But it's just like, just learning about this stuff and reading about this stuff. It's just like these wonderful, like, mad scientist projects.
Yeah, that was kind of what was so exciting about finally getting this up and running, is that I found a whole bunch of like old websites that hosted these script files, and there's all these teams that exist, and they were running out of like different colleges and different like departments, and they were using Geocities to share subtitling files. And it's like there's like a whole history to this industry that is now huge. You've got Crunchyroll, you've got Funimation, you've got all of these massive streaming giants. But in 1996, there was just a group of people hanging out together as part of their anime club. One of them knows the language, and they sat down and they translated it.
Well, it's like, even if you didn't want to go through all the stuff you just mentioned, it's like, okay, so you want to get some anime that isn't like one of the dozen or so titles that's been released here. So you have to know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who lives in Japan, and then wait 6 to 10 months for like a 7th gen raw Japanese VHS tape, which the one Asian kid in your club would then stand next to the screen and tell you what's going on.
Yeah, there's absolutely that happened. I was born in 1995, so I wasn't able to be part of any of it. I was just born too late. But I'm glad that I get to carry on a little bit of that tradition decades later.
Oh yeah, no, that's super legit.
Yeah, man, you're old at heart.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I have a LaserDisc player, right?
There you go.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wait, they're not modern?
Yeah. What are you trying to say,
format?
man? Yeah.
Well,
so like the anime titles, like what's everybody think is stuff that's cool that they want to. Normally we do like a top 10 top 5 list or something, but if there's anything you want to kind of represent or tell people that they should check out. What about you, Ryan? Is there anything you actually are into that you want the kids to know about?
Yeah, so I don't even have it because I didn't pull it out, but it's behind me.
You're fired.
Of course. I know, seriously, like how dare I? I'll get it in just a bit. I really, really think that Jinro is something really cool on LaserDisc. It's a beautiful picture. Like, I got it from Peter's garage sale like a couple of years back. He was like, I don't want this. And
damn, it's like, a late release too, or later.
That's a late 99, maybe early 2000. One of the last anime discs out there.
Yeah, and it's just really cool. And like, you don't even need to like understand the language to follow it. It's just very like well put together, and it flows well, and it's just a really cool disc. And then other than that, like I was watching a little bit of the old Astro Boy.
Nice.
That's really cool. That's easy to follow too. Because it's so basic, and it's just
you've got that huge box, right, that has the picture on the side of all the spines when they put them together.
It's 4 boxes with like the full picture that I found at Half Price Books. Not that they're a sponsor. This podcast is not sponsored by Half Price Books, but it might as well be. No, but I had seen it at a Half Price Books, and they wanted like $200, and I'm like, no. And then like it was down to like $100, and I'm like, you know what? When they have a coupon day, I'm gonna go back, and as long as it's there, I'm snagging it, and that's what I did. And right before COVID hit and we locked down everything, that like Friday before like Illinois and everywhere else started like, hey, it's emergency only. Like you have to have like a work authorization. I drove and bought that because I'm like, hey, I got one shot. Like, let's do it. But that's really, really cool. And then I was watching the Lion King. Jungle Emperor Leo. That was pretty cool. Like that's fun to follow. Like
the original or the 95 movie?
It was the original. It was not. It was like the series.
Yeah.
I picked up the box. It was stupid. It was like $11 with like $3 fees and like $8 shipping, and then
I think I
whatever
have
to
that
get it
one.
back.
Yep.
It was like
That's killer.
$20 plus like international shipping to get it here. It was so dirt cheap because
And it
there's-
started the amazing war, like flame war in
Oh my
the
God.
thread on LDF about Disney versus Tezuka. And it was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, Kimbo the White Lion?
Yeah.
Is that what we're
Or
talking
one of
about?
the
Sorry.
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
one of the iterations thereof.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I did it as kind of a joke, but like some people took it way too seriously, and it just spiraled. And I at that point, I'm just popcorn and watching it
Yeah.
because they're like debating, and it's like it's fun. Enjoy it. Like this obviously was before the Lion King, and like, well, it's actually from a comic, and it's like, whatever. I'm sure there's going to be similar stories. Imagine that. Believe it or not, Disney didn't write half of their anything. Like
Fairy tales? What are those?
Yeah.
seriously, like. Who would have
Not
thought?
even good
but-
versions of fairy tales.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know, I pick up things because they look cool, and
Hey.
I will put them on, and if they keep my attention, I keep watching them, and if they don't, I just it's fine. But it's really just random and what looks cool. Like I got one I can show here. Hang on, I did actually prepare a little bit.
All right. I like it. Someone had to prepare.
I had just watched like probably like I don't know, a month or two before I won these on an auction. I'd watched the Iron Giant, which is just a miraculously awesome LaserDisc. It looks amazing. And
Let's not brag too hard about
Yeah.
how you got
Flex,
it.
flex, flex.
Oh,
late
sorry.
release, yeah.
Oh, you think that's a flex? Wait till it's my turn.
Oh no.
Jesus
Oh, man.
Christ. Do I have to
but
pull out
like
my Tarzan?
I
It's over
found
there.
this and I still haven't watched it, but it looks cool.
Ooh.
Nice.
And I've got all 12 of them because in Japan, like no one buys stuff. Like I saw this
Yeah.
cover and I'm like, well, that looks a lot like the Iron Giant. I'm sure that we didn't rip off Japan. That would never happen. But it looks cool. So this is Neo Ranga, I think it is.
Yeah,
And I have no idea if it's good. So you guys are gonna have to tell me. But
it looks better than it is.
yeah, like this looks amazing, but it
It's
probably
worth it for
isn't.
the cover art.
Yeah, like these covers, and they're all like immaculate, and the person who had them probably watched them once and like was like, I don't need this crap.
It's-
But
The simplest and shortest way I can sum up what to expect from it is the cool images on the cover are not the focus of the show.
that
Nice.
seems about right.
Yeah.
So it's like every VHS exploitation film on the shelf back in the day.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm used to being disappointed by covers, so it's
Yeah, exactly.
it's not any change for me.
But you probably got the whole run for pennies on the dollar.
Oh yeah,
right?
it was like
Yeah.
$20, like
Yeah.
for the whole run.
Yeah. It's just shipping's pretty much the worst part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
you fill a crate with enough that it gets a warning sticker from UPS and you have to fill out a video declaration form or something. Yeah, but, who cares?
It was like the first time I had to do that with a FedEx air package from Zen Market of LaserDiscs was almost like intimidating. It's almost like a threatening memo they send you to like declare your stuff.
They called me and they're like, you have to fill out a video form. Did you know that? I'm like, you're calling me. Of course I didn't know that. And like,
Yeah.
then they emailed it to me and it's like, no, I am not sponsoring terrorism with this anime disc.
But I do have a lot of hentai.
If in 2020 or 2019, I'm sponsoring terrorism with anime discs that I'm pressing on LaserDisc, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was oddly like nationalistic and like weird, like, hey, you're not spreading weird ideologies. And I'm like, well,
Well,
Maybe.
depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
If you asked my mom, she might disagree with me.
Who is this overfiend?
Yeah. We want to know more about him.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend, Mike? What floats your boat?
All right. Well, I actually did prepare a top 5 for my collection here.
I like it.
Oh, also, really quick other honorable mention. My Ambassador Magma. I have the whole series. This was my
Ooh,
first purchase after I got my player.
very nice.
It's actually cool. It's a dual language, but of course no subtitles. But if you mess with the closed captionings, you can get dub titles.
Yeah, a lot of the manga releases over here have that, which is pretty cool. And they don't really advertise it that well on the discs, but yeah,
They don't.
yeah,
But
but it's there.
then I have a Streamline Pictures dual language disc, Lensman.
Oh, sick.
Yes. Definitely the appropriate format to watch something on Lensman. Just, the whole retro sci-fi thing on LaserDisc works perfectly.
Yeah.
Or here, let me pull it out of here so the folks can see the cover.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, that one's gotten really hard to find and not cheap anymore.
Yeah, I should have grabbed on.
Then there's one of the ones that I got mainly for the cover art, but it's another streamlined dual language. It's Vampire Hunter D.
Ooh, nice. As you can see, I've got a Bloodlust poster right back there. Boop.
Yep. Again, just a really good movie to have on LaserDisc just because it's such a classic.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now into something.
Oh no, we lost you.
Oh no! Okay, wait. I know what I'm doing.
Yep. You got taken out by secret agents for spreading that horrible anime ideology.
Oh, I see what happened.
Oh, he didn't do the declaration form.
Yep.
They're on to me.
Deny everything.
This is just like how our show goes. Yeah. Every episode of Maison Otaku, there's some bullshit like this I have to deal with.
See, it's too bad we didn't go live. This would have been
Ta-da! Okay, awesome.
You need to keep that in to show the struggle we went through.
Like it.
Okay, hold on. Bear with me. Technically, you can edit this shit out if you want.
I'll just put it all at the end, like as a special Easter egg treat.
Yeah,
we'll take the focus off you until we're
awesome. Okay, yeah, or do the Simpsons technical difficulties screen.
Yeah. I like it.
But anyway, so this is my 80 Police Files Volume 3. This is actually a CAV-CLV hybrid. So the subbed version, because it's also dual language, the sub version is CAV is the better one, right? Remind me.
Is the half hour, one with a little bit higher quality. Yep.
Marginal.
Yeah, then right, marginally. And then the other one, and then the dubbed version, because it's longer, they also stick the music videos, which were like official AMVs that they made. Because,
pretty cool.
Well, it's Animego.
Yep.
Then I have Dagger of Kamui. This is a 2-disc set.
Very nice.
This is also CAV-CLV hybrid, but only because it's technically only 3 sides. So, but again, worth it just to do that. So you have like the liner notes printed right on the sleeve. And then lastly, this is my flex and one I will actually talk about a bit.
Well, I'm intrigued.
So I'm good friends with the owners of a company called Art Tunes. They sell animation cells and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, an associate of theirs had some stuff they wanted to get rid of, but only on the condition that it would go to a good home. So they brought this to the convention. I go to Colossal Con every year.
Yep.
Specifically to sell to me.
Nice.
This is my Japanese import Memories box set.
I've got one back
cover,
here.
gold embossed. I got the chunky OB strip. And you open her up. It comes with all kinds of, here we go. Cool stuff like that in there.
Yep.
Absolutely one of the favorite pieces of my collection.
Gorgeous stuff.
And it's an interesting movie to sit down and watch in one sitting too.
Oh yeah. My one and only complaint about Memories, honestly, is that they made the biggest mistake you can with an anthology movie. They put the best short first.
Yep.
So.
Agreed. Is that the one where is Memories? No, I'm thinking of one that a different. Nope. I'm gonna stop me.
You might be thinking of was it Neo Tokyo? It was like another anthology movie around the same time.
No, I'm thinking of the one that.
There's Robot Carnival.
No,
yeah, Robot Carnival.
I'm thinking of one that I watched on Blu-ray, so it doesn't even count.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Not a real movie. It's from the dude who made Mary and the Witch's Flower. That's the one I'm thinking of for some reason.
There we go.
It's not
I don't think I've seen it then.
Yeah, it's called Almost Heroes, I think.
Oh,
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
So we're not talking about the one with Chris Farley in it, right?
No, not this time, right?
No, they didn't make an anime adaptation of Tommy Boy. I'm sorry.
They should have.
I would watch that.
I would own 2 copies of it.
Yeah. Holy shnikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that would be your number one, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Out of your collection, the memories box.
Of my LaserDisc collection,
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, I have some other oddities and my other stuff. Like I have on VHS. You know the Rumik World OVAs.
Yeah, I haven't seen them, but heard of them. Yeah.
Rumiko Takahashi, creator of Ranma and Inuyasha and all that stuff, did like some one-shot OVAs, and they call that the Rumik World series.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, known as Mars the Chojo, originally it was called Super Gal. DC didn't like that, so they had them pulled. So the Super Gal version is super rare. I actually have 2 copies.
Nice. Does anybody here have the Daikon super expensive openings disc?
I wish.
Will you be funding my efforts to acquire it?
Me and Ryan have been working on getting a super chat up and running. So by the end of the night, we'll have enough to get that for you.
Yeah, those of you who are watching the replay of this, feel free to donate to Sam with the code DICON so that we know we can use it toward the disc.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a copy that went up within the last like 5 years, and it sold for well over $1,000, $2,000 if I recall. It was a nuts eBay auction.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So,
why get that when you can get so much Gynax for cheap?
Sure. Yeah, it's bragging rights, I guess. But so what's on your list, Chris? What do you recommend?
Oh God, I'm cracking my knuckles. You can't hear it. Let's see where.
Get in the ring, buddy.
Let's see where can we begin? I've got quite a few good movies. I've got quite a few good programs.
I know that's the thing. It's like, do you recommend the films or do you recommend the series? Or there's
here's
so
the
many
thing.
choices.
I brought out like one of every single series I've got. I have a huge library. I'll pull the camera so you can just see it. I brought the heat. Those bins back there, you can kind of see are full of anime. I've got anime. Wow, I can't aim this damn camera. I've got anime all over the place. I am overflowing. Yeah, this is called I'm not supposed to take the camera off of my screen because this is my teaching setup, and now I'm going to have to redo it.
Fair enough.
This is now a found footage movie.
It is, yeah. The Blair Witch Anime Project.
I'll see what I can keep it down to. I'll see if I can do like 5 features, 5 programs.
That sounds cool.
I know you said top 10. Had I known ahead of time, I would have like written something down.
Yeah,
So
we're going loose, so.
Yeah, it's holiday week.
Let's start with Perfect Blue.
Nice.
There are two box sets. This is the less special of the 2. It's beautiful. It's got an OB strip that just flew off and fell over the side of my desk.
That's what they're for.
It's got such incredible, if you do anime laser discs, the one thing you're going to get is just a shitload of extras. Yeah. Just a shitload of nonsense. You'll get these beautiful liners that I can't read because I'm at baby bitch level in Duolingo for Japanese.
Yep. I highly recommend as well, at least just for learning katakana so you can read like OB strips and stuff.
The individual artwork, this is the CLV version of the film. The
Gorgeous.
Artwork is just stunning, and the film is actually one of the, I would say, best animated features that doesn't have Hayao Miyazaki behind the camera. Satoshi Kon, every movie he made was brilliant. And obviously he's since passed away, unfortunately. But if you see something, Tokyo Grandfather or Godfather.
That's a great one, yeah.
Paprika. Just everything that he touched was beautiful. And there's even like a single disc, like CLV copy of Perfect Blue. That's really nice.
I know that's the thing. So much of this stuff got reissued, especially the old series. Like there were the original analog releases, then they would come out with the digital ones, then the box sets, and so if you're a completist, get prepared.
If you're a completist, you're going to die.
Yeah,
that's just the truth of it. There's just like I think for Gundam, there's like 6 different series to begin with. One of them got reissued. One of the movies got reissued like 3 times. It's just like,
there's always like a perfect edition or they retitle it something and push it out again.
It's still not as bad as being an Oh My Goddess completionist. That's
all right.
possible.
I have Oh My Goddess down here somewhere. I have not watched it. I pulled it for my winter break catalog because I'm trying to get through some of I have so much anime and I haven't watched most of it. So next feature I'm going to pull out and say you absolutely need to watch and look out for is the deluxe CAV box set of Royal Space Force Wings of Honeyamase. If you're familiar with Gainax, the animation studio, they did Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water. Yep. They did Evangelion and a couple of other major works. This was their first feature. If I had to compare it to something modern that maybe you're familiar with, it's kind of along the lines of like First Man and
The Right Stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say Right Stuff, yeah.
It's basically an animated space race movie.
Yeah.
And it's this beautifully animated, meticulously crafted movie that I think nobody really cared about in its initial release. It actually lost money, but it's just this beautifully realized, confident space race movie if everyone on the team was a little silly.
Yeah.
You know, if Tom Hanks was like cracking jokes during Apollo 13, you know, that's the kind of movie this is. It's a bunch of bros building a rocket, and then the Japanese government's like, no, don't build this rocket. And they're like, fuck you, we're gonna build this rocket anyways, and we're gonna take it to space. So that was my impression. I watched that 3 years ago. Beautiful transfer. Beautiful score.
Yeah, Ryuichi Sakamoto's score is fantastic.
You know,
really recommend.
There's nothing about that movie that I can say poorly, except the Blu-ray kind of sucks. I won't get into it because I just sit here and screech for an hour.
Yeah, I don't have that. I do have the US port that Manga Entertainment did on LD, but I still usually just watch the Japanese release.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about Blu-rays anyways, so you're good.
Yeah.
Unless it's Vinegar Syndrome.
What else do I have here that's remotely interesting? What good is a discussion of anime on LaserDisc without talking about the beautiful gatefold release of Mononokemen?
The AC3 mix on that is stunning.
I would say this might be the best sounding AC3 disc I own.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's not too loud. It's subtly beautiful.
Yep.
And it's got, I really like the obies that are like wrapped around one half of the gatefold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the other ones just like to fall off. And then it's just got so much material in here about the making of the film and what's on the disc. If you get a complete copy, you get a separate paper pamphlet that has the chapter listings and the extras. It has all sorts of advertisements at the end. I would say that the picture quality is not as strong as the audio quality. It does have a little bit of that chroma noise that LaserDisc is known for.
Yeah.
But it is, I would say this is my single favorite LaserDisc that I own in my.
You can get one for like $5 to $10
life.
sometimes.
Oh my God. You can, the Japanese audience loves to give this movie away because it's like, hey, how many copies of The Lion King do you find floating around in junk shops?
Yeah.
This movie was the only thing that beat it in the theaters. I think it ran blows with Titanic. Mm-hmm. That's how big this movie was. So it's like finding a copy of Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Or fucking Braveheart.
Yeah. So don't spend $100 on it.
Or our podcast favorite, Fantasia.
Yes, Fantasia.
Yeah.
It's the rarest disc ever.
Do I need to go get my Japanese Fantasia box? It's bigger than the American one.
Which is already a shelf buster.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other features do I have on here? The problem is I have so many. You know what? I'm going to cover the rest of my features with one box. Give me a second.
All right.
While he's digging, I actually have a short anecdote talking about finding stuff in junk shops. By where I work, it's a not so great neighborhood. I'll put it to you this way: I open carry at work. That's
another video game adventure. Mike at work.
That's some new ground shit right there. Anyway, so I walk in not far from my job. I walk into the rattiest, most ghetto ass junk shop you can imagine. Like, there's not even aisles. There's like a couple shelves, but like there's all kinds of tipped over bicycles lying on top of them and shit like that. So anyway, I walk over to one of these shelves because I see something like kind of a colorful, VHS case. I'm like, okay, that might be something. I like haul these bicycles off of the shelf, and I see like 6 or 7 Sailor Moon fan sub tapes in like hard cases with color labels.
Wow.
Oh, we can get to Sailor Moon on LaserDisc later.
In all the places, yeah.
It's just funny. It's like, of all the places for Sailor Moon fan sub tapes to end up, it's like, oh, what do you want for these? It's like, give me $5. Okay.
How did they get here? Nobody knows. That's awesome. What do you find, Chris?
I had to, if I'm going to go talk about features, one cannot have a LaserDisc podcast without talking about the Studio Ghibli comprehensive LaserDisc box set. This is not only a comprehensive collection of every Ghibli feature from Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind through Whisper of the Heart, but it's like an archaeologist's find. It is the only box to date, I believe, that has the streamlined dubs of Porco Rosso,
nice,
Castle in the Sky, Kiki's Delivery Service, and and My Neighbor Totoro.
Yep.
So actually, Totoro you can find on the Fox Pan and Scan LaserDisc release in the US. Yes. But everything else, these dubs are basically lost to time because Disney overwrote them when they took over the home video and theatrical licenses in the late 90s. So, not even the G-Kids Blu-ray reissues retain these dubs. I watched the streamlined dub of Kiki's Delivery Service, and it's remarkable how goddamn similar it is to the American dub.
People give like streamlined trash for their work. I always thought they did great quality, honestly.
Well,
yeah, those dubs are classics. Yeah.
Yeah, I say you have to contextualize them in that there was no money in dubbing anime. There was no real home video market for it yet. So no one really, there were just a bunch of dudes trying their best. There wasn't really a standard. Things didn't really get serious till Miramax entered the game with their dub of Princess Mononoke, and they brought Neil Gaiman in to write the script, and it was a whole bunch of mess. But what I really like about this box set is that it has new artwork for every single one of the discs. All of these movies are issued in single releases. I have them all. They're upstairs. I didn't want to pull them out because the artwork on these discs just immediately overwrites the sometimes too busy artwork on the original issues. Just it's minimal, but it's a perfect representation of everything that makes each of these movies special. And of course, I've literally written essays about the works of Studio Ghibli and the importance of these movies. But it's just this box. I think the list price was several $100s in yen.
Yeah, and then if you imported it here in the States and found it at a convention back in the day, good luck.
People were, it
was 98,000 Japanese yen, so $980 list.
Yeah, that's all
plus inflation now.
Yeah. So when I first got into LaserDisc collecting, this was one of my grails. I don't really like to spread the idea of having a holy grail of LaserDisc, but this box was like the first thing that I identified after watching Princess Mononoke on DVD. I mean, as a grail. It has everything you want in one place. And with every single one of these Ghibli features, you get an absolute slam dunk. Well, unless you like Ocean Waves. Ocean Waves is kind of a tough sell. I think this is Ocean Waves. I could talk about Ghibli for, again, too long. You know, you got Pompoko.
Yep.
You've got the only copy of Whisper of the Heart that has a Dolby Digital soundtrack.
Nice.
And Whisper of the Heart, unfortunately, was directed by a man who died of a heart attack 2 years afterwards. They were grooming him to replace Miyazaki and Takahata. You've got, I believe this has a this is it's the only music video that Miyazaki's directed, I believe.
I'm pretty sure.
Featured in Dolby Digital 5.1 audio.
Nice.
And then there's just a whole disc. I think it's just about Studio Ghibli.
Yep.
And when I first got into collecting, this box was on LaserDisc database for $1,000. I'm going to tell you that if you spend $1,000 on this box set, you're very enthusiastic. Because I bought this for 6,000 yen on Yahoo Auctions.
Damn.
And I actually had to buy.
Yeah.
I had to buy 2 copies of this box because the first one that I bought, which wasn't in the listing, which I couldn't read anyways because it was in Japanese, was missing 2 movies. So I
got a Cobra box that was just missing randomly disc 5. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
and the other thing that you didn't show because you were off screen is it comes in an outer box that's printed on.
Got it.
Yeah, and you've got it. That a lot of them on the auctions that pop up don't have that box. Like the box is part of the collection, and that's just to protect it.
Yeah.
So
it's both of the ones that I bought had the shipping box. And actually, I would say that this shipping box is worse than the other one, but I sold that to a guy locally with doubles that I had of the 2 movies that were missing already. So if you're going to go big, go for the Studio Ghibli feature set. It's literally perfect. I don't think you could complain about it at all. It's a piece of history. It's both an archive and an exciting way to watch these movies again in pristine widescreen stereo Dolby surround on select movies. So that's what I would say. Those 3 features are probably the ones that if I was to pull a LaserDisc movie out, I would probably show.
Nice.
Now, series, I don't even think we want to dip in that direction. I could talk for days. I've had the spotlight for a while, so I don't want to overshadow anybody with the labor of love of watching Sailor Moon on LaserDisc.
We'll do like a Sailor Moon spin-off cast or something.
As long as we all have our outfits. You guys made your sailor outfit for this.
Yeah,
episode, right?
yeah, we got those somewhere, right?
I totally missed that memo. Sorry. Maybe next time.
All right.
I guess no one wants to see that.
Few of my favorites.
By the way, while Sam's digging, this is the one I was talking about.
Nice.
I had it right behind me.
Yeah.
And then I neglected to show this one, which was, this is a good anime.
Oh, there you go.
So
when I first saw that, I thought the movie was in black and white.
It's got to be. The cover is, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I've only seen the Michael Bay Transformers.
I'm sorry.
Whoa. Yeah.
We can put you on mute the rest of the cast.
I actually got to see the Transformers movie a few years ago because they had like a one-time showing on the big screen.
Oh yeah, I remember I didn't get to check that out, but I remember when that hit my local area. That was pretty cool. I missed it back in the day. Now. I should have saw it when it first came out. All my cousins and stuff did, and I remember going to a birthday party, and they were all like freaking out about it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't go.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, I'll throw down a couple. This was the first LaserDisc I bought. So this and Alien 3, Project Echo. And this is the US release, which does have subs. It's, it got the Japanese stereo tracks and subtitles that they call, what do they call it? Is it like Manga Vision or something they like to call it?
Oh, yeah. They had a weird name for it, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't find it. Oh, Mangurama.
There we go.
So, I mean, I was just hooked on this. It's just infectious. High school antics and over the top action, and little annoying Seiko, and Biko with her cool ass kicking weaponry, and it's just a lot of fun, and it references and pokes fun at so many other things. So it's a little bit of a deep cut if you haven't seen a lot of the things it's referencing. But
is that the one? Do they shift the picture up and have the subtitles in like an extended letterbox on the bottom?
Yeah, I believe that was part of the Manga-rama feature. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's positioned at the top. I've got my copy right here. Do you have any of the other AKOs?
Yeah, I've got 2 and 3. Was it Cinderella Rhapsody? And I think I'm missing some of the last couple ones.
I've got a whole bunch of them. I've only ever watched the first one.
Yeah, the first one's my
probably
favorite.
the best.
Yeah, that's my go-to one.
Also worth mentioning, it's one of those things they did back in the 80s where it started out as a porn, but it had so much of a budget, it looked so good, they just made it a regular movie.
Yeah, it still got a little bit of like a porny subtext there. Like you feel it's going to go that way any minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
And of course, I dropped this before, and I've got box sets of this movie and the series, but yeah, this is a kind of another gateway for me, Space Adventure Cobra. The cover art on these things is amazing anyways, and it's just such a fun Total Recall-esque adventure, some James Bond thrown in there as well. It's just this great space thrill ride, and it's gorgeous stuff. Early 80s, and it's that old school kick-ass period of anime. And of course, I always mention I'm a big Macross head, so the movie, like I said, you can get so many different versions. You can get the old Do You Remember Love analog release, and then you can get the very hard to find version that has the Hong Kong created English dub, and then there's the widescreen reissue, and then I also have the box set of the widescreen reissue, and of course I've got so many different versions of the series. This is my favorite, the reissue of the Memorial box. This thing comes with a phone card and a little origami Valkyrie that you can put together, and like 11 or so discs, and it's a beast. And this is kind of the norm when it comes to series box sets, between even the other Macross series or some Macross 7 Boxfire releases, and you can just get these 11, 12 disc boxes for like $25. And then you have to ship it, but still.
Before we move on from Macross, can you sell me on Macross? Because I have Macross 7, Macross Dynamite. I have that Memorial box. I can't seem to get into it.
Yeah, I mean,
7's weird.
Yeah, I got hooked on Macross. Just the tale of the main character is this young cocky pilot, and he's got his big brother who's a fighter pilot, and he looks up to him, and he just kind of gets caught into this war as these aliens return looking for their lost ship, and all this kind of nonsense goes on with music being impactful on them. So that's brings in Lin Min Mei, who's this character. She's a songstress with a bunch of annoying songs, and she's a big plot point because, of course, the main character falls in love with her. But then also it was this little love triangle. It's very soapy with one of his superiors when he ends up joining the UN Spacey and is a fighter pilot himself. But it's got lots of mech action, and so transforming robots, and I was a big space opera kind of nut, so that's what really dropped me into it. I'm also a huge fan of Macross Plus. I know Mike is a big fan of Macross 2, which usually gets provided.
I actually have a signed copy by Steve Bloom.
Nice. That is a good series. You can get, there's like 6 standalone LDs. You can get wicked cheap a lot of times. I think I got them all for like $20 or something like that. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, Macross, it's epic. It just kind of keeps sprawling, and there's even bits where it like jumps ahead quite a few years, and the characters just go through these kind of harrowing events, and it's just intense. And by the time you're through it all. It's like you felt like you've lived with these characters, and yeah, I just fell in love with it. So it might not be everyone's cup of tea, and but I mean, watch a few, you'll be singing.
Maybe I should, because it sounds like you love Macross the way that I love Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah, and
79.
Yeah, and I'm actually waiting for the Gundam. It's like 2 boxes that are combined in one mega box.
I have it. It's upstairs. I didn't bring it downstairs.
There it is. Ryan's got it.
Yeah, I bought that from a guy in Australia like 2 years ago for like $20. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's on the way right now. I'm awaiting the slow boat to land and deliver that to my paws. But yeah, I mean, there's those kind of like big epic shows between Mobile Suit Gundam and Yamato and Macross. Like, yeah, they've got similar DNA and in terms of their epic scope and yeah. So I don't know, give Macross another shot. Maybe you'll end up digging it.
I mean, I have it. It's not going anywhere. I've yet to resell any of mine. Although I do have an extra Nadia in the Secret of Blue Water, but I'm not here to sell my discs.
Yeah, and in typical fashion, the movie ends up telling a similar version of the storyline from the show, which is like a big kind of there was a trend. You'd have the movie and it would be like, oh, we're going to tell the same story, but everything's a little bit different. So so yeah, maybe you'd enjoy the movie more or less. I don't know. Your results may vary.
Really quickly, before we move on from Macross, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume the answer is no, but was there ever a LaserDisc release? Like, I know sometimes it goes by a different title, but was there ever a LaserDisc release of the Clash of the Bionoids dub?
That, I believe, is this one.
Oh, really?
And I believe I'm going to do because I do have Clash of the Bionoids on VHS. I still don't know if they're the exact same cut, but I think it's the same dub.
Because there's at least 2. I have a couple different versions on VHS. There's the Just for Kids Clash of the Bionoids, which has a bunch of the violence and nudity cut out.
I've got that
and then
one.
Then I have one that's just called Macross, where it's the exact same dub, but all the violence and nudity is still in there.
Yeah, I think this is the same dub with the violence and nudity, but I do have to still do some cross-referencing because I finally landed my mitts on this. This is probably the hardest Macross thing to get a hold of is this disc.
Sure.
It shows up every once in a while and everybody fights over it. And it usually ends up in a bidding war. But I'll do more research on it. But I do believe that that's what this one is. So
very nice.
And then my other LD gateway was getting hooked on Dirty Pair bootlegs at conventions. So that's my jam. Kay and Yuri, it's basically got ties with wrestling. the 3WA they work for is also a little bit of a nod to women's wrestling, and but they're troubleshooters, problem solvers that end up causing bigger problems than the ones they're sent out to solve. And there's a series, there's a box set of the series, there's individual releases of the series, then there's a series of OVAs that came out, which one of my favorites, and then a couple other movies and standalone releases. This is the movie also known as Project Eden. The one I got on VHS back in the day was a literal dub of this earlier release. It's just so much fun. Great pop soundtrack. And
do you sing the Wattsman theme song every time it comes on?
Wattsman! Yeah. You know it. You have to. Yeah, it's got a mad doctor and he's doing these experiments, and
it's such a fun movie.
It is. It's such a blast. And I highly recommend getting it. This has one of those sick kind of like vellum obies too, where you can see through a little bit. Yeah, it's just gorgeous stuff. And it's Kay and Yuri are they're the coolest. If you like similar, they're spun off from the Crusher Joe universe. So if you like the vibe of that, you'll dig it. Just space adventure with lots of comedy and hijinks and skin too, so it's tantalizing.
It's just amazing how much space adventure there was in Japanese anime during the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you mean when anime was good?
We can have that argument.
I do like some newer stuff, but
I would say that the 80s and 90s were good for anime because the economy in Japan could support better animation and better storytelling.
Yeah.
Oh, we could talk for hours about the boom economy.
Yeah. and how that's why I have so many giant boxes of nonsense.
Yep. And then I
Like,
throw down a bit of a nod to Cowboy Bebop quick too, just because I have that handy over here too. There's a box that you could get after the fact that was like a promotional box. I don't have it yet, but there's 9 of these releases and then Session 0, a bunch of behind the scenes things worth picking up. And I just love this whole kind of old jazz record styling when they dropped it on LD. It's freaking fantastic. And even though these came out in 98, 99, they're relatively affordable to find. You can get the whole set usually for next to nothing. So
I think I paid like $30 or $40 for mine. Got it straight from the Good Squid.
Yeah, it's great. And they do have the top obi and the information underneath it is exact. So if you end up losing the obi, it's not too much of a big deal. But I just love the style of those, and plus it's one of my favorite shows as well. So I recommend that. So cool. Thanks for bringing some titles to the forefront.
Always bring more.
Yeah, maybe if there's anything else you want to show, we can do it.
Talk about. Does anyone here have any of the Rumiko Takahashi programs on LaserDisc?
No.
I have Laughing Target on LaserDisc, but that's about it.
You could kill somebody with this box. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's
not as impressive, but I do have the whole DVD set of that.
Could you kill somebody with it if you dropped it on them?
Let's see, that's 50 volumes, so maybe if I threw it at them.
Let's go to the field for an experiment.
I have it is I believe it's 25 discs per box split across 2 boxes, and just lifting it up makes me feel bad because I'm never ever gonna watch most of it, I imagine. I have all of Ranma. It's just the subtitles, man. The subtitles.
All right.
So much work.
I would say get the DVDs, but some of those are rarer than the LaserDiscs.
Yeah.
I would imagine most anime DVDs weren't printed in large quantities in the early 2000s.
Well, here's the thing. They did that thing where the first half or so of the series got way more prints than the later half because, they figure people aren't going to jump in late. And then they went out of production, so they were charging gouging collector's prices for the last 20 volumes.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't buy most anime programs. Ranma 1/2 got a beautiful Blu-ray presentation, but it was $60 $60 a pop for each volume, and there's 11 of them.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get the box set. There's 2 LaserDisc boxes, and it's a good workout to pull them out. So
yeah,
I actually like what they called Discotech's been doing with some of their older TV shows. It's look, this thing's from the 80s. It's 480i at best. There's no reason for us to put it on an HD Blu-ray, so we're just going to shove the entire series on a single Blu-ray disc.
Nice.
In standard definition.
Yeah, they did that with Sailor Moon, and I think everybody was angry about it.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, true. It saves space. I like it.
Yeah, that's the only thing is anime and TV and all of this shit just takes up so much space. I feel like I need a storage unit just for the boxes.
I have a second bedroom just for my video collection.
Nice.
I call it my archive room. Oh, there you go.
Nice. You should charge it rent.
Yeah. Man, I wish.
Pony up collection.
You could do online tours.
Yeah, you should.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. It's in the works right now, but for my channel, Maison Otaku, I'm actually my archive room is all out of order, so I'm actually going to be doing a video series coming up sometime of me actually organizing the thing and going through all my fun stuff in there.
Nice.
Because honestly, just digging up these discs and digging stuff up to get to them, I'm picking up stuff. When did I buy this?
Yeah. Oh, I have this.
Yeah. Wait, when did I? What?
Yeah, that's kind of what I did today as I pulled out all of my anime that I could find and put it in one spot to kind of just get myself in the right mindset. It's wow, I don't remember buying this. Wow, this was $3 and it's been in a box in the other side of my basement for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you find, does anyone here have the end of Evangelion box set?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the statues and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
I've got it.
Does anyone actually display that prominently in their collection?
I don't know where I'd put it. Like,
I think, yeah, Sean Robert Gillette, I think, does.
He's got the Cowboy Bebop box. He's the
He
only
does.
guy I
He
know
was
that
the
has
one-
that box.
Yeah, he was the first one I knew that got one, and then a couple other dudes found they come in waves. All of a sudden, they show up on auction.
Yeah,
But-
it's crazy how that worked. There was like, if you bought the first volume and then you bought everything else and you submitted proof of purchase, you gave them your mom's Japanese social security card or whatever.
Yep,
and they would
hailed
just
Satan.
give you a box. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just, I could not imagine an American label doing anything like that.
Yeah, most of the other ones you'd get the box with the first, like Macross Plus, you would get the first volume with the box, and then
yeah,
you'd
and
fill
then
it
you
up
fill it
later.
up.
Yeah,
Or like,
So-
I think I wasn't a big fan of it, but I remember it was a big deal when My Hime came out on DVD. You got the first volume and a box, and there was like a T-shirt shoved in the empty space in the box.
yeah. Wolf's
Mhm.
Rain did that with like a little stuffed wolf.
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
It's like there's little hints of that, but they sold into that hard in Japan.
Yeah,
Like, cataloging anime can sometimes be really frustrating because you'll have two catalog entries for the first volume
Mhm.
and then the box for the first volume. And then sometimes they have different catalog titles or catalog numbers. And it's just like, I'm so glad the LDDB exists, but
yeah. There's
boy,
still a
oh
lot of
boy,
artwork that's missing, so we need some fans to start submitting.
how do we even get good scans though? I can't
I
just take
know.
a picture with my phone. That's the problem.
Ryan's
well,
got that app, right?
There's an app. It's called Google Photo Scan, and I've been using it to submit photos. But it's still tedious because you scan it, and then you have to scan like 4 quadrants, and then you want to fix the corners. So like it's a few minutes per scan, and then of course you can't just do the fronts. So, but I've submitted like over 100 photos in the past month or two, and it's so much work, but it's cool because they're starting to get updated finally.
You're doing the Lord's work.
One of
Yeah,
my
I mean, it's
favorite
on
things-
stuff that you guys don't care about, but
Oh,
One of my favorite things with that kind of stuff was you were talking about, trying to catalog the stuff. Because, I really need to update my catalog, but, I write down the, ISBN numbers and, write down what volume it is. Fun fact, this is the case with a lot of these VHS tapes, like Ranma 1/2 and all that stuff. They don't list the volume number on it. You have to look at the serial number.
oh,
And then ADV does that with some things too. So it'll say like, an abbreviation of the title / like if it's volume 1, it'll be 001, and it'll be D for dub or S for sub. And then Ranma's even worse because they don't label it season 1, 2, 3, 4. They gave the seasons names. So you have to look up a list telling you which season is what name.
oh, wow.
By the way, if you know anyone who collected complete Ranma 1/2 on VHS back in the day, buy them a sandwich. They're probably still broke.
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
the-
those
the-
people with the Star Trek VHSs. Like,
Oh yeah, they just go
It's
for
like-
days.
Yeah, it's like I can get, I have every Star Trek LaserDisc box and I paid like pennies for it. But
As you do.
Christ, buying
guess-
all of those. Oof.
I guess the worst cataloging apps, the Dirty Pair series releases, they don't have like volume 1 or 2. It's like the Wink collection or the Underpants collection or the Pancakes collection. It's all just these random things. And you're like, wait, which one has episode 12 and 13? Because I want to watch those.
You think that's bad? Back to what I was saying about Oh My Goddess.
Oh yeah,
Like, across any media, just collecting the manga, because there's like 3 or 4 versions of like the first like 3rd or 4th of the series, and it's like the first printing released for whatever reason. I don't know what Dark Horse was thinking, but released the chapters out of order.
oh nice.
So you actually have to, but thankfully it'll say in the beginning contains excerpts from da 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 da. So you actually have to, if it's printed in there, look in the front of the book to see which volume it actually is.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's
as
user-friendly.
we have said on our show before, you will never collect all the Oh My Goddess.
Yeah, didn't you have a show that was like covered that pretty
Yeah,
much. Was it the whole show or?
Yeah, we had an Oh My Goddess episode. And like,
I thought so.
One of the examples I brought up in there, I picked up at like a flea market at one of the conventions. It's a Japanese newspaper, and they had Oh My Goddess released in the comics section.
Damn.
I mean, it was a pretty big deal.
Oh, it was for sure.
I haven't seen it. It's on my list of things to watch in the next week or so.
Best way I can describe / sell it, it's literally like Bewitched the anime with a bit of I Dream of Jeannie.
Hey,
Sounds like a good time. I'll give it a shot if I can find a good subtitle file group.
There you go.
Yeah.
The American LaserDiscs are pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
I don't like buying American LaserDiscs. They're always more expensive.
They're overpriced. Yeah, I just showed a bunch I got hilariously through our friend in Sweden. That was the easiest way to get them affordably in the States here. Like I got Ninja Scroll and yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, I was thinking of a different one. Never mind. The Oh My Goddess American LaserDiscs are stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Like I got the Kiki's delivery service U.S. pressing, and it was like not only expensive but incredibly hard to find.
Yeah.
I think I've seen maybe 3 of these up for sale at any point in the last 10 years.
Yeah, even
that's
something like
it's got Phil Hartman doing the audio,
and it's got
I forgot about
Dolby
that, yeah.
Digital.
Yeah.
And yeah, meanwhile, you can get the Ghost in the Shell box set from Japan for next to nothing, but over here in the States, you just get that gatefold CAV copy, and someone wants like $50 for it or something.
I have a really funny story to tell about the Ghost in the Shell premium box.
Uh-oh.
I think you guys will find it, as LaserDisc connoisseurs, you'll find it interesting.
Shoot.
So I've had 2 copies of the Ghost in the Shell box, and actually, my current copy is sitting back in one of these tubs back here.
Yeah, mine's over there. I can't use the
Yeah, I'm not gonna get up and grab it. But I've owned 2 of them, and this is the worst of the 2 conditions. The first one I bought from Kevin Kobos for like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Shipped it in a slow boat lot. And what happened was I was on Reddit one day. I don't know if you guys have ever checked the LaserDisc subreddit on Reddit, but it's a wasteland. It's useless.
Yeah, occasionally I've tripped across it. Yeah.
But one day I found a guy who posted, "Hey, I just found 3 sealed copies of Disney's Song of the South in a Goodwill in Southern Alabama."
Nice.
And I was like, are you, what the hell is this? What? And so I opened the thread and no one's commented on it. And this guy is just like, I've got 3 copies. I don't know what they're worth. I don't know how to identify what they are. I know this movie is rare because I've never seen a DVD of it. Does anybody want to buy these or trade these? And I'm sitting here thinking like, this dude is going to do some research. He's going to come back and want a huge list of things to trade. And I sent him my LDDB collection because it's public and everyone can see it if they want to make fun of how much anime I have. And he combs through. I think
challenge accepted.
Yeah, at that time I think I had maybe like 900 discs versus the 1700 that I have now. And he goes, "I will trade you a sealed copy of Song of the South for the Ghost in the Shell LaserDisc box set."
Oh.
I have never said, "Hell yes, let's do this" faster in my entire life. I sent him the box. He received it. He sent me, and I shit you not, it was a pristine digital audio second pressing sealed copy of Song of the South. I immediately opened it up, watched it, and I was like, wow, this movie kind of sucks. And I put it on a shelf. But I have it.
And you probably got another Ghost in the Shell box set to replace that one.
And I think I paid $3 for it in a larger lot of boxes on Yahoo Auctions.
Nice.
Because that box is everywhere, because that movie's huge, you know? It's it's an all right movie, but
it's a great release too.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the Song of the South got a LaserDisc release because even by that point, Disney was trying to pretend it didn't happen.
So there's 3 pressings. There's 2 in Japan, 1 in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
All of them are rare as shit. So I jumped on this. It was kind of like you see those stories of like, oh, I went into a game store and I found a $200 game for $20, and I nearly lost my pants paying for it. And it's like that was the one time in my life where I've ever gotten like that, like, God damn, I just got away with murder.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think it's that rare. I think it's just that it's that coveted because it's the one we're not supposed to have. Like, not that it's good or
forbidden
anything.
fruit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say just the circumstances of a guy finding 3 sealed copies of it in a Goodwill in Alabama. That's what made it really, really special. Because I looked it up. Someone had sold one for like $300 the day before.
Yeah, it's been going for over 300 lately.
Yeah, especially lately. Yeah.
They had the whole Disney Plus, and then like everything's getting censored, and of course Song of the South came up, so people were just throwing it on eBay and getting stupid prices. But
yep.
Yeah. Kind of like when the Goofy movie became a LaserDisc Forever meme.
Yep.
They started going for serious money for like 20 minutes there. Christ almighty.
Oh man, I messed with them so hard on one of those. Like they had a thread, and I listed one purposely to mess with people at a ridiculous amount. And every time somebody commented on the post complaining about it, I raised the price $1. It was my favorite thing ever.
Oh man, should we do some pickups or anything? Did you have anything you wanted to share, Ryan? Or
sure, I got a couple more pickups. Like I won this ridiculous lot for like $20 in Japan. It was like 8 box sets. It was like one whole like the shipping box and then another shipping box with even more on it. And the first one was I got this, and I still haven't watched it.
That's what's coming to me right now.
That beautiful program.
That's awesome.
I seldom sit down and watch a whole 40-episode program. I took a year-long break, and I still went back and I finished it. Every single piece of artwork in that box is unique and beautiful. The transfers, they're transfers of late 70s anime. Don't expect Tarzan, Tarzan 99. Well, easily maybe my favorite animated program on the format.
Yeah, so
it's
like
still better when they sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say it's still better than when they, clean up all the grit and grime by oversaturating everything, which peeves me to no end.
Yeah, that's why I love watching my Macross boxes. All the noise and stuff. Yeah, it looks nasty, but I love it.
Yeah, that was like people were actually. I put a lot of those on Instagram. A lot of the cover arts because they're just so beautiful. And,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so like I got this box along with the other things, and then I like packed my box from Zen Market, and this didn't come with it.
Oh, that's the one that went missing.
This was missing. So I'm like, what? I thought I got it, but like it was one of those where like the photos were gone, and I'm like, maybe I didn't win the auction I thought I won or whatever. And then like a couple weeks later, I get a message from them, and they're like, yeah, so we located this. This is yours, right? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, we're going to put it in the next box. Don't worry about it. In the extra shipping, we got it. So they like shipped that to me in the box as an extra because they screwed up and lost it. And I don't know if they lost it when they were packing it or unpacking it. And they like went through their auctions and found it was mine. And I finally got it. So I've never had that happen. I've had all kinds of weird stuff happen with them, but
Zen Market's been having a tough time during the pandemic. Like,
oh yeah.
Like I bought a Super Famicom and a whole bunch of shit. And it took them like 3 months to actually put it in the FedEx drop box.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and then I got this. I don't know. Is this any good? Like,
oh, is that Vampire Princess Mio? I fucking love that show.
That's
so
a nice
it's good.
Box. That's
okay.
Yeah,
I actually have an art book by that artist. I love her designs. Yeah,
those are gorgeous boxes. I
got both of them. They looked really cool. Like the art on it is amazing. This one's even still got like a hype sticker on it.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Hey,
it's absolutely worth a watch.
Okay. Because like I literally just was like, hey, there's some stuff, and you know what? There's an Evangelion box in there, like the full like series, and I'm like, well, I'll just sell those and pay for this, and whatever. And sure enough, I did, and I got all this crap, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. Like I hadn't watched it, I didn't know if it was any good, like. And so I was kind of just holding it around for one of these podcasts because I'm like, there's cool stuff. I mean, all this stuff, just beautiful booklets, you name it.
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
it's just amazing. And, I didn't pay anything for it. It's more of pay, wait, ship, wait, unbox and go, holy crap, this thing weighs 50 pounds. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, like those are some of the recent pickups I got. And a lot of it was just haphazardly because I stumbled across it and I was like, this is kind of cool, or this looks cool, and that's how I select this stuff. I have no clue. It could be terrible and whatever.
Yeah, I've got nothing's arrived since the last podcast. Everything's held up my Gundam box is still missing, but I did have some other like ancillary things that are somewhat related. So I'll drop those right quick, including this box finally rolled into the mail, and it has styrofoam inside. So it's pretty cool, and a business card. So I mean, what more do you want? But this has the almighty eval board, which is in this bag here, which I will be eventually hooking up to my LaserDisc player and using it for its comb filter wonders. And I can finally see if everyone's been, raving about this thing, and now it's unobtainium. So I can see if it really stacks up next to running my LaserDisc player through my DVD recorder. So hopefully this will be a step up. So I finally got that beast. And
I'm actually going to have to talk to you about that stuff one of these days, because I want to get something like that set up, and I'm just a total dinosaur when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, man, we'll have a secret chat. try and get you up and running.
You probably won't get an eval board that he's holding because
yeah, I'm sure.
No, like what happened is us LaserDisc people bought out the supplier, and they're like, why is this thing selling? And then they locked out random schmoes like us from buying it. You have to have like an HD license or an HDMI license, and
basically they sell it for, so if you're a developer, you can have access to this board and work it into your product. And then everyone realized that this has got the same chip in like the $4,000 Lumagen processor that people pay for to get their LaserDisc players hooked up to and upscale to 4K, etc. So everyone was like, well, I can use this has the same kind of comb filter, and you can run a script on it and do what you want. And the company that was selling them was like, why are all these weirdos coming out of the woodwork buying tons of these things? And then they had two levels. They had one that you had to have official HDMI licensing to get, and then they had the lower level, which was just for any old schmo. And then now they're like, well, no, even if you're any old schmo, you have to be an HDMI adapter to get it. So
which is like 10K or something.
So that's a little screwy.
Yeah, totally not gonna happen.
A couple of people are going to be very happy with that.
Yeah. So if you can find one, and there'll probably be some getting passed around from the people that did buy them that might end up getting out of the LaserDisc game, that'll be selling them off at some point. But
I can count the number of people who usually keep their equipment for very long like that on one hand. So.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, there's always somebody though.
Peter will buy 6 of them, break one of them, fix another dozen of them, and then sell a bunch of them for $1,000. So
well, there's going to be there'll be the second market eventually. So get ready, kids.
Well, it's like that's why if any of you are into firearms collecting, all like the old broom handle Mausers that used to not go for much are stupid expensive now because all the Star Wars cosplayers bought one to build a Han Solo blaster. I'm not even joking.
I gotta be Han Solo. Yeah. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, like, wait, this is not the market for this was not even remotely going in that direction. And now it is. Yeah. And I also grabbed for Christmas. My wife was nice enough to buy me this. This is technically for records, but I got a vinyl flat, which is 2 really, really heavy plates with of course some protective foam in between, and you just put in, and you could use it for LaserDiscs that are warped, and a lot of people have realized that warped LaserDiscs cause all sorts of crosstalk problems at the end of sides, and you can either cook it in an oven or just leave it like this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Or they also sell pretty much like a pizza pouch, like dudes from Pizza Hut would put their pizzas in to deliver to you. It's called the Groovy Pouch, and you just stick this in there and it heats it constantly for a day or two, and then just flattens your LaserDisc. So
do they make those for CDs, if you don't mind me asking?
I was even wondering, you might even be able to. Let me see if it's in here. There's a couple different rings that come in this thing. I think I've got them downstairs, but you can actually, there's a smaller one, so you could theoretically use this even for a CD if you wanted.
You've got a warped CD in your library?
Yeah, that's
not a music CD, a Sega CD game.
Oh, okay.
It's not worth it. It's a Sega CD game unless it's Snatcher.
I mean, it's not like stupid rare, but it's Android Assault.
But theoretically, this would still work for that. So, but they have different felt rings in there to apply pressure, to different spots. So there's a smaller one. It's probably designed for 7 inches or something like that. But you could You could definitely use that for a CD. And what else? LD related. Oh, I did post in LDF. I was reading everyone's most hated nerd, Ernest Cline's new book, Ready Player 2. And there's a LaserDisc reference. There's also a Ranma one half reference and a LaserDisc reference within the first half. So I'm about halfway through. So if you hated the first book, don't read this. If you like the first book, you might want to check it out.
It was a little messy.
Yeah, it's once it picks up steam though, it really picks up steam. And I was actually like, what are you gonna do? Just like kind of rehash the first book, and there's actually some meat on the bones, and it kind of goes in some different places. So I'm so far intrigued and having a good time with it. But yeah, so LaserDisc reference.
Yeah, I only own the first volume of that because I got it in a loot crate.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh, I own this now.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like, all right, whatever.
Thanks, Loot Crate. But yeah, that's about it for pickups. Everything else is just kind of on the way, or that sort of thing. What about you guys? Have you been buying anything interesting lately, Mike or Chris?
Do you want to go, Mike? And then
Yeah. I actually I haven't bought any new LaserDiscs lately, but I do have some recent-ish.
Yeah, sure.
Hold on one sec.
Go for it.
Can you guys still see me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, because it's only showing me for some reason. Whatever. As
Yeah,
long as you can still see
highlighted.
me.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Ryan highlight you.
Oh,
So,
okay, cool. This is my first time using Zoom. Bear with me.
Yep.
Oh wow.
You're good.
So anyway, first off, and actually, do you guys mind if I do a quick shout out / plug?
Yeah. Plug your shit, man.
Okay. Well, this isn't a LaserDisc, but I do get some LaserDiscs from this same guy as well. Actually, most of the LaserDiscs I'm about to show I did, but I got this Pat Labor art book here because I love Akemi Takada's work.
Nice.
You're gonna like what I have to show.
But I got this from a guy goes by Otaku Joe. You can check him out on Facebook. Just search Otaku Joe.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff before.
One of my absolute favorite vendors. He's always at conventions. He goes to Japan a few times a year, buys stuff, brings it back here. All kinds of Japanese LaserDiscs, figurines, art books, stuff like that. Unfortunately, he makes all of his money from conventions, which he hasn't been able to go to for obvious reasons. So if anyone watching this wants to hit him up on Facebook, he is selling stuff through his Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely appreciated. But let's see. Show off some of my. I brought out a couple things that are fun to talk about that aren't LaserDisc before I get to LaserDisc. So I have the rare English dub Captain Harlock TV series on Betamax.
Ooh, damn!
Nice.
Oversized box.
Huh.
What are you rocking for a Betamax?
I don't know. It's some old POS that just barely works. I need to get a nice machine.
Yeah, you need to get a super
2000.
Betamax. Like they're worth every penny.
Yeah, I basically just bought it because it'll do beta like 2 and 3, I think, and it's a top loader. You gotta have the top loader.
Nice.
Harlock's in the same universe as Galaxy Train 999 or Galaxy Express 999.
Yes and no. Okay, very brief aside. We did a whole episode on this. You can go to Maison Otaku, check it out. But basically, the way Matsumoto himself worded it is all of his stories are like people sitting around a campfire telling tales decades, if not centuries, after they happened. So none of them are what actually happened, and every story is to be taken as its own universe. But it is part of the larger Leijiverse.
Okay, yeah, because I watched Galaxy Express 999 the movie.
Yeah.
I have not gotten my hands on the actual program yet.
If you try to connect any kind of continuity between the series, you're just going to give yourself a headache. So don't.
Sounds like a good time.
With
I love
a couple exceptions, like Captain Harlock SSX is a direct sequel to Arcadia of My Youth, but that's rare.
Yeah.
But anyway, then I have another beta. I forget what the original Japanese series is, but I have Goldwing on beta, some old like 70s Super Mech show.
Oh, nice.
In like a big like Disney style case. I got this for like $1.
Nice.
This is beta I just collect because like I like beta as a format, but they're just cool. But VHS I always like to show off when I get a chance. This is my subtitled U.S. renditions release of Blackmagic M66.
I remember seeing that in the shelves all the time.
The cover glows in the dark.
Sick.
Nice.
And on the tape, you have this big, oversized full color label with the thin slit windows, which
nice.
I am such a fiend for these. And then very briefly, some actual LaserDisc stuff I got. Wait, actually, that's not that. Here. Well, I'll show this off. I actually accidentally grabbed this, but
yeah,
always cool.
Nice.
But anyway, so I got this. It's actually a 3M blank LaserDisc.
Oh, nice. RLV.
Yeah. Someone recorded some news story on it. I don't even know what the deal with that is, but it's still a cool curiosity to have in my collection.
Yeah, those are always a trip.
Yep. And then the rest of this is stuff I got from Otaku Joe's. So I got this most of this last year at the convention. Urusei Yatsura volume. I don't read enough Japanese to tell, but it's a 10th anniversary release. Has all kinds of nice images on the back. Again, just got it because it's UI and that cover art.
Yeah.
Then got a really cool. You guys know. I'm assuming you all know about how Robotech is actually 3 different anime.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I assumed. I'm just making sure.
I still need the Southern Cross and Mosfeta boxes as well, but nice.
Foil cover Southern Cross.
That's gorgeous.
I had to get that with what the heck's Musica's Japanese name again? Anyway, with her on the front.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Then
yeah, that's badass.
Oh, speaking of Oh My Goddess, I basically just bought this for that giant image of Erd, and it has this it's not textured, but at least visually it has sort of a almost like parchment texture.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then this is pretty cool. This is another one like how I forget who one of you was talking about earlier, where you just bought stuff because it looks cool.
That's Ryan.
That's right.
Yeah. So near as I can tell, this is called BB fish or blue butterfly fish, depending on what you want to go with. Seems to be some kind of basically not porn, but adult romance thriller. You can hold on. Might have to blur some of this out, but then basically gives you an idea of what it is.
All right. I like it. And it's got fish too.
Yes.
That's my one law is that I won't buy hentai or porn on LaserDisc.
Not yet.
Right. Well, like I said, it's not.
I've been doing this 10 years, so sorry.
From what I can tell, I know for sure it's not hentai. It's not even erotica or ecchi. It's just a adult film as being distinct from a porn film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
But
so you're saying it's a thriller or after hours type film, but in anime.
if even that, but yes, it's something you'd see on that. If it got an American release, it probably would have been shown on Showtime Beyond.
Yeah,
exactly.
But and lastly, this is pretty cool. This is actually a music LaserDisc that's just different songs put to all kinds of cool illustrations.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
So I know I've seen this artist before. I can't remember the name, but it's cool artwork, music I've never heard of. Yeah, I'll pay, what was it, $13 for this?
Why not?
But yeah, that's my fun stuff I grabbed.
I like it.
Okay.
What do you got?
On my end, I'll be straightforward. Technically, the last LaserDisc I bought was 3 days ago, and it's a DiscoVision pressing of 1941, the original CAV pressing. But it's in my car, so I can't show it off. And I found the pilot to Millennium.
Oh, okay,
at a local store.
Yeah.
I know Millennium got a couple of Japanese boxes.
Yeah, there are some
someday
boxes.
I'll buy them, but the pilot only got pressed in the U.S. They didn't put the rest of it out there.
Yep.
So that's technically sitting in a paper bag in my car. But the last real package I got, I had Kevin throw a couple of things in a box for me and ship it right around the time the pandemic was starting. He sold me
an
original a Japanese AC3 widescreen pressing of Lost Highway.
Very nice.
I'm going to say that I'm not the world's biggest David Lynch fan, but
That's
I
fair.
do own every single movie and every TV program that he has ever made. So take that as you will.
That's my favorite David Lynch film anyway. So
this movie threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I still don't feel like I understand what the movie was about, but I love it, and I will keep this LaserDisc forever.
That's what I like to hear.
Speaking of David Lynch in Japan, have you seen the Japanese Dune movie posters?
No.
But I just know Japan and Dune.
Are they really nice?
If you know the series Crying Freeman?
Yeah.
Yeah, the artist Ryuichi Ikigami, he did them.
Oh, I'll look out for those.
It's basic. So the posters are basically Dune the anime.
Listen, that's
I'd go
probably
see that.
better than Dune.
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to see that now.
Yeah, we could do a David Lynch LaserDisc episode, but that's not what this is all about. The other thing that I got in this box, because I could tell you about how I feel about Wild at Heart, but it's not for the faint of heart.
We'll do a Lynch episode eventually, because I know Luke's a big Lynch fan.
Yeah,
too,
that's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned Pat Labor earlier.
Yep.
I did get the Pat Labor series box.
Very nice.
And I have, so the interesting thing about Pat Labor is that there's 2 series and then there's 2 movies. So I believe that this box has just a whole bunch of random smatterings of episodes. It's a 3 LaserDisc set, which is absolutely not enough to have either of the original programs. And I have single disc issues of the original Pat Labor and the kind of remix of Pat Labor. But I bought this because I've also got the box set of the 2 movies. I've got the standard single issues of the 2 movies. I'm a huge Pat Labor junkie.
Oh yeah, Pat Labor's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Pat Labor rules. You know, it's robot cops, but they're also kind of idiots. So it's that lovable kind of. I mean, that's kind of anime in general. There's a whole bunch of serious things done by goofy people. And then in the same shipping box, I got the original Sailor Moon program. I believe they call it Sailor Moon Classic now.
Oh,
but
of course,
it's like cotton candy that also melts your brain while you're watching it. That's the best way I can describe the original Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Like it's good and I love it. And it's like riding a roller coaster that also just punches me in the face every 20 seconds. You know, it's incredible. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Fair.
And also I wouldn't say the discs are that great, but it sounds like the source material for Sailor Moon isn't in the best of shape as it is. So it kind of tracks. It's a good time.
Nice.
42 episodes of nonsense.
That's the poster quote right there.
Yeah.
It's like the best kind of nonsense. I'm not trying to be rude. I love it.
Fair enough.
It's clear.
It's like, look, man, 1,000 years ago, there was a magical kingdom on the moon. Either you buy it or you don't.
Yeah, are you in or you?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Spoilers, dude.
Oh, spoiler alert.
My bad.
It hasn't been out for 20 plus years.
Yeah, right?
I wasn't born when it was done.
I know. We have this weird mix of young cats and old farts like myself.
I used to get up at 5 a.m. to watch that.
Oh, man. I wish I could say the same, but I got up I almost got up at 4 a.m. to watch Macross, but I really just taped it because I had my VCR with the fancy programming on there, and I just watched it later.
Taping things on VHS, you are old.
Yeah, dude. When Robotech first dropped, I didn't have something was up with our VCR. We didn't have a VCR in the house at the period, so I actually begged my friend to beg his dad to record it for me. And then at the end of the week, I would go over his house and force him and my dad and his dad to watch it. And they'd all stare at me and like, you're an idiot. What is this stuff? And I'm like, oh, yes. Rick Hunter's going to hook up with Min-May. This is amazing. And then eventually we got a VCR and I was able to start taping them. And my mom would also make fun of all the, huh? Oh,
yeah.
Wow, yeah. And I'd be like, shut up, Mom. This is serious.
My mom used to make fun of Pokemon, saying it looked like Clutch Cargo.
Oh, nice.
Which, in hindsight, fair.
Sure, yeah, we'll give you that.
But my cousin, when Tenchi Muyo was first shown on Toonami, he had started working, so he was at work when it came on, so he didn't get to watch it. So he actually had his friend tape him for it. So for the longest time, he had the whole series taped off Toonami.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I got to give credit to Cartoon Network for getting a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, they got a lot of people into a lot of shows. So
yeah,
a lot of like early 2000s anime on Toonami. That was like, I catch like one episode. My username is FLCL forever, and I've been using that for 15 plus years now. And
that makes me feel so old.
I know. Yeah,
well,
how does it make me feel? It's even worse.
I caught it on Toonami at like 2 o'clock in the morning at a friend's house. It left me forever changed, and now people ask me all the time if the FLCL in my username means Fooly Cooly.
You're like,
I'm
yes.
playing video games, and I'm like, yes, but also we're getting killed.
So get your shit together.
Yeah, so my username goes back to anime, which is interesting that I didn't even mention it in my story, because it's so integral to my online identity.
Wow. We don't want to spoil your secret identity, so all those fans are going to come after you.
We'll just cut this.
Yeah. You want to do some spins, Ryan? Have you been watching anything? Or
sure, yeah. I always watch stuff. You know this. Did you want to go first, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of anime this week though, so I'd be branching out. So if you guys can tolerate me for a second talking about not anime, I'm gonna break the rules.
I have to go get my allergy shot.
Yeah, do your thing.
No, I'm just kidding, because I'm allergic to non-anime.
I understand. The first thing I watched was what I promised I was going to watch at the end of the last episode, which was Killing Zoe. I actually had a second copy of this that I'm sending off to a friend, and I wanted to watch it just to make sure it wasn't rotted, and it was fun. It's interesting because this is the Japanese pressing, and the film features Eric Stoltz playing a character who's speaking English in France, and just about everybody else in the film is speaking French. And the first side is all him just kind of in this drugged out stupor as all this stuff's going on around him. But considering he's the fish out of water character, it's totally cool that there's no English subtitles. Side 2 is where all the characters that do this bank robbery all start talking amongst themselves. And that's when it starts to become a little bit of a weird situation if you don't understand French. But really good stuff. Roger Avery, who co-wrote Pulp Fiction with Quentin Tarantino, wrote this and directed it. And even though it was shot mostly in Los Angeles, there's some French stuff. And then because it was Christmas, I had to go into some Shane Black, and I did my lame 4:3 edition of Lethal Weapon. I realized I didn't have a widescreen copy, but I watched it anyways, and still a lot of fun. I love these movies because unlike Shane Black movies where there's a lot of detecting, this just has all the villains are pretty much trying to kill the heroes for like 80% of all these movies. So there's really not much detecting they need to do. They just need to not die somehow and make it to the end. So after I watched that, I decided to fire up this obscure film called Lethal Weapon 2, which is pretty damn good in its own right, and still a lot of fun and holds up. And then I had to fire up an obscure film called Lethal Weapon 3, which I actually thought I didn't like that much, but I realized that I just saw it wicked late in the theaters, and I was super, super tired by the time the big finale happened. So watching it again, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty entertaining.
Sam, did you watch the movies I was supposed to be watching, or what's going on here?
I'm sorry, I messed it all up, Ryan. And these are nicely, I've got non-rotted copies too. There are definitely some different pressings, like Warner Entertainment pressed a few of these that aren't rotted. So I have those. And then, of course, I had to close things out with Lethal Weapon 4, which...
Late release?
Is a bit of a late release, yeah. And it's got Jet Li in it too, so there's that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And yeah, Chris Rock also joins the cast, and it's fun watching them all in a row because from the Shane Black original, and even two, like Riggs is a cartoonish guy, but he's still got these moments of gravitas, and he's actually going through some serious issues mentally, and by the time they get to this one, it's just nonstop nonsense and just screaming at one another. So it's total Three Stooges action. But yeah, some good fight scenes and stuff in that one. So
God, I've only watched the first one.
yeah, well they're all watchable. So I'd recommend.
I have all 4 on LaserDisc. I just
definitely check out 2, definitely at least, and then see if you can hang with that one, because that gets Joe Pesci into the mix. So if you dig that one, that one's interesting too, because it's got these villains that are South African. Yeah, like they're ambassadors and they're actually doing crimes, but they're hiding behind their diplomatic immunity. And then like the whole thing is like, how are these guys going to get around that? And the answer is like, they just don't. Like,
yeah,
they just harass them and beat them up and shoot at them anyways. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever, I'll go with it.
Which was the style at the time.
Yeah, you're like, I have diplomatic immunity, and shoots you in the head. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And credits, yeah. You could do that, right? So, but yeah, that was it. What do you watch, Ryan?
Well, I watched a few different things. First and foremost, I'll talk about the one anime I watched. It was Kiki's Delivery Service.
Nice.
And I'd never seen this before. And I saw that I had the Disney version, and I'm like, I have to watch the Disney version. Not realizing that it had Phil Hartman and Kirsten Dunst and a few others. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they assembled a pretty solid cast for basically redubbing a movie, which is insane. Plus, you had the AC3 mix, nice letterbox transfer. Like, this is a really cool disc, and I had no idea it was rare because I'm like, it's Disney. It can't be that hard to find.
Yeah, not easy to find. Yeah.
But really enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it as well, so we might actually dig into the Ghibli box that I have sitting on a shelf that I keep looking at and going, I should do something with that. But
man, you've been Ghibletized. It's official now.
Yeah, well, I mean, my wife enjoyed it enough that she's like, oh, well, we can watch more of this. Like, we'll probably watch only the English ones, but there's like 4 in there. So
yeah, there's 4 English ones. You have to switch it to like the right analog track. It's in mono.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no worries.
As long as you have your player hooked up right, it should be trivial.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm switching to AC3 and everything, I got it. Yeah.
That is one interesting artifact with some of the older analog releases I have, like Space Adventure Cobra, where the dialogue and all the music and effects are on one channel, and then the other channel is just music and effects.
And it sounds real weird.
It sounds really weird in stereo. Yeah.
That's kind of the problem I had with the Royal Space Force Blu-rays. It sounded like that.
Yeah, and you're like, all the dialogue's coming out of the right side of the screen or something. I'm like, whoa. But thankfully, you could switch it just to mono, basically.
Mm-hmm.
One of the fun things with my Lensman one, my player has a switch where you can go back and forth between digital and analog, so I can just switch. And because the English and Japanese tracks are on each, I can just switch between the 2 in real time.
Yep, it's pretty cool. You can that's what they're that's what they're dubbing that into.
And then you can add in a DVD-O and switch everything without touching the player. And, it's all kinds of fun. I watched this, which is not anime, but it is Steve James, and he is a badass.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed this one. He's like basically a bounty hunter out killing guys and
on the street.
Oh yeah. And he's an ex-cop, and everything that like is cliche about these kinds of films happens. But it's Street Hunter if you can find it, and I think it's pretty easy to find. Some of them I find are just like horribly impossible, but it is what it is. I did finally get Step Monster. Definitely not an anime, but the movie is inside of the movie is based on like a comic, and this creature that like the Alan Thicke's soon-to-be wife is, and it's ridiculous, and it's the rarest disc I've ever had to search for. So, and I told the story, but not everyone's on Facebook. I had a copy, and this was March of 2019, and I go to pull it out to spin it, and there's like a chunk out of the disc. And I was like, oh, well, it's a Roger Corman, Corey Feldman film. There's probably 1,000 of them. 19 months to find a copy and win it on eBay. But I did it, and it's ridiculous. Corey Feldman just has a bit part. He's the band playing boyfriend of Amy Dolenz, which, you know, she's good at acting.
She's a sign of quality. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it involves violin and everything else. So yeah, highly recommended. You may not find one on LaserDisc though, because apparently that disc is a flex, even though it's Step Monster.
You had me at Alan Thicke.
Yeah, exactly. Like the cast is ridiculous. So let's see. I got two more because I did watch a lot of LaserDiscs, but this is great. This has everything you could ask for. You've got guns. You've got ridiculousness. Pam Anderson sleeps with both guys, even though they're friends.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah,
that's good of her. Yeah.
And it also includes a fan boat chase scene. So yeah, just everything.
Take that, Jackie Chan.
Yeah, everything you could ask for, it had it. And so I gotta say, like, if you can find a copy, there's the US copy is called Raw Justice, which you can't find either. I had to get one from Indonesia, but it was just pretty fantastic. And then one more.
All right.
I watched Midnight Warrior. And
I love that cover.
Yeah, I see you guys squinting like, what the hell is this guy watching? So basically, you've got this guy, and she's just like a rando. Pretty much, she's not important to the plot, but
I mean, she's clearly an accessory, like a kind of clothing or a bit of fashion.
She's an accessory for the
draped
gun.
over him.
Someone had to hold the gun while he's like holding his, waist.
He's just too cool to hold the gun. Yeah,
but he's a news reporter. He goes around getting the video of the stories. And he finds his way into like this conspiracy where they're making fake news for him to like catch, and then they have like the scoop and the exclusive footage, and it just spirals into ridiculousness, and it's fantastic and awful at the same time. So I think you can find this on VHS and probably DVD as well. I doubt you'll find a LaserDisc because there's like maybe 2 people that have this, but it's just ridiculous and the perfect kind of garbage that I love to watch. So
I know what
Ryan spins.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like Sam watching Lethal Weapon is something that I would do, whereas Sam usually watches good movies. Not that Lethal Weapon's terrible.
Yeah,
but,
it's got a little bit of a pedigree, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've got some Hollywood chops behind that one for sure. So
you gentlemen been watching anything or?
I've got a couple that I'd love to share.
Yeah, sure. Go
yesterday, I believe, was it's been a couple of days, the anniversary of Carrie Fisher's passing.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a little independent film called The Empire Strikes Back. I watched the worst possible copy version of the movie because it's close. You know, it's got everything you love. A space wizard loses a duel with his dad. A princess realizes she loves a man who's being locked in stone. A rogue says some obnoxious things, and then he gets the girl. It's just, it's this little independent film. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, is that French? What is it? It's pretty obscure.
It's actually. I'm not gonna keep doing this bit. That's just gonna keep getting worse. I showed you guys the Sailor Moon box.
Yep.
I've watched 16 episodes of that. It's good. Again, it's cotton candy for the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me just grab. I watched an entire program called "Those Who Hunt Elves."
Oh
yeah.
God!
Mike literally just face planted.
Is a wonderful comedic program about a group of Earth dwellers who get teleported to a fantasy realm where humans and elves and magic exist. And in the process of being sent home, the spell that sends them back gets somehow tattooed onto the body of like 7 elves across the entire realm. So the goal of this group of people is to roll around in a tank and strip elves of their clothing.
As
to
one
see
does.
If they have the
important
parts
tattoo
of the spell. It's 12 episodes long. It's puddle deep in terms of its depth, but I don't know if you guys have ever watched Moonlighting, the TV show.
Bruce Willis.
Yep.
Yeah. There's moments in it where at least the subtitles I was watching were self-referential. Like, oh, well, this is supposed to happen because this is a comedy episode. Oh, this is a spooky episode. We're going to find ghosts here, guys. Like, it's very self-referential. It breaks the fourth wall. It's very funny. It's very light on its feet. It's 12 episodes. It's you blink and it's over. And it's got a good pressing. And at the end of each disc, there's this thing called cat hunting, where it's a bunch of Japanese people shooting like guns at each other. And it's got to be like paintball guns, but like they're like dressed in full tactical gear, and it's just like I can't figure out why it's on each of the 6 volumes of this program, but it is.
It was some research they did while they were thinking about the show.
Well, it's just like, it is really interesting. Like, they come up against a giant like monster, and they're like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" And then they just kill it with a tank. It's just like, Jesus Christ, why doesn't every anime have a large tank? It's good. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it, but it's good. I enjoyed it. That's what I watched this week. Oh, and I also watched one single disc that I watched moments before we started the podcast to really put me in the mood. I watched the single episode of the masterpiece anime Golden Boy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Never seen it, but I am familiar with it.
But it's a stupid, sexy anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically.
And it's got a phenomenally terrible 1996 dub. I'm assuming the sales of it were so bad in the US that they only ever pressed 1 episode on a single-sided CAV disc.
Wow. Really?
And,
that's odd, because that was actually really popular here.
Yeah, well, it's got it. You can still buy it on DVD from like Best Buy. Like, it's still available.
There's a new printing.
It's in print. And I bought that a couple of years ago, and it's only like 6 episodes. But it's like the only one of them made it to disc. Wow.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity for some nice late rare LaserDiscs.
Damn. Very nice. And then, of course, lots of cream lemon episodes I'm sure you watch too, but we won't talk about that. Yeah.
I can't even spell cream lemon. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, at least it's not cool devices.
Yeah. Have you watched anything, Mike, that you want to share with the kids? Or
can you give me a minute? I didn't think to grab some of the things I watched.
Yeah, sure. We can hold time and space for you.
I will be back in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, do it. Don't hurt yourself.
So I found one more pickup that had fallen. So I got this.
Oh shit! Nice.
No joke. I got this in a collection of like full moon and horror discs. This was the one anime, and it's completely
still sealed. Very nice.
Yeah, so like I have no idea.
It's fun. Yeah, check it out.
I will. Like I was gonna watch this or the Broom Witch. But,
Broom Witch. Yeah, Kiki.
Yeah,
it's kind of like anime Joe's Apartment, but different.
No, that's kind of what like it reads like on the back. It's like, did Joe's Apartment rip this off, or I'm
probably
sure yeah. And since we're killing time, I was drinking a Southie Bitch Slap from Pigmine's Brewery in my hometown, Machesney Park, Illinois. It's a vegan brewery, but they have some distribution now. In fact, their name was kind of controversial, so the cans say Southie Slap.
Okay.
Quite delicious. And then one more plug, because why wouldn't I plug the beers I'm drinking? It's the Clencher Double IPA. So for those of you drinking along with me.
And I'm always hosted, sponsored by Kylo Ren Tumbler, this time with orange juice. I'm mixing it up, not just water.
I like it.
There you go. I think Mike returned.
Yep. And since we're on the subject, I'm drinking some, I think it's just called Martian soda. I live right by B.A. Sweetie Candy Company. It's like a warehouse that's open to the public, and they have all kinds of gourmet sodas.
Isn't there a video where you guys go on site?
Yes, if you go to, again, my channel, Maison Otaku, there's actually a short video where we tour the place.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
But anyway, first off, this isn't one I've watched recently, but since we brought up that it's rare and expensive, I'm going to flex a little bit.
Oh, nice.
I don't have volume 2, unfortunately, but
womp womp.
But Also, get out of the way. This isn't LaserDisc, but I want to give props to frickin' Retro Crush, the streaming service. They have been killing it lately.
Really?
They've been bringing, like, instead of just licensing old stuff that was already brought here, they're actually bringing new stuff to the States that's never been here before, and it's all like old good stuff.
Ooh.
Like, there's this one I discovered called Miss Machiko. Go on Retro Crush. It's free. Watch it. It's hilarious.
All right, I'm in.
It's an early 80s series, and the whole premise is there's a new teacher comes to the school. She's kind of hot, and everyone pervs on her.
Oh, I've actually heard you guys talking about this before.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm down.
Is this different than most other anime episodes or shows? I'm confused.
No, it's that, but turned up to 11.
I like it.
But anyway, LaserDisc stuff. Yeah. So I have the one of the original gateway drugs, Devil Hunter Yoko.
Ooh, nice.
It's nothing too special about the disc itself. It's just, it's good stuff. Basically, if any of you aren't familiar, the way I like to describe it is imagine Sailor Moon if it were violent and raunchy.
I like it.
You basically, like, the whole plot thread is the main girl only has her powers as long as she's a virgin. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, but she's a horny teenager, so her like grandma has to keep her from having sex.
Save your powers.
Yeah, no, literally. And then the other one is this is volume 2. I have more of the series. I only have volume 2 on LaserDisc though. Genesis Survivor Gyar.
Oh yeah.
This is by the same people who did Bubblegum Crisis. Mm-hmm. It's really fun futuristic fantasy series. Have you guys ever seen Thundar the Barbarian?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah. It's literally Thundar the anime.
I'm in.
So it's a fantasy series, but it's a post-apocalyptic future where there's like mutants and cyborgs and stuff like that, and you have a guy wielding an energy sword, and there's a robot with them and all kinds of stuff.
Hell yeah.
So fun time, definitely.
Dig it. Cool. So I'm gonna have to check out, what was the streaming service again we should get?
Retro Crush.
There's like
yeah. There's also their stuff's on other services too. So if you have Asian Crush or Midnight Pulp, a lot of their stuff's on there as well.
All right, cool. Yeah, so many options nowadays. So yeah. Between all the Crunchyrolls and the
Crunchyroll kind of sucks, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's for mainstream, cutting edge, popular programming.
Yeah. Get off my lawn with that.
Yeah, but
I'm sitting here watching Sailor Moon. I can't talk, so
yeah. It's like, you can watch, the newest episode of whatever episode of One Piece, or you could go over to Retro Crush and watch some forgotten OVA from 1985.
Yeah.
So most of the OVAs.
Well, yes.
I like it. All right. So normally we have mailbag stuff, but I didn't throw the net out, and nobody wrote anything in that I don't think we've covered yet. So we'll just skip mailbag altogether and go on to just general hot topics and nonsense. Is there anything shaking your world lately, Ryan?
Yeah, I can't remember. There is a copy of End of Days for sale.
I missed most of this stuff over in LaserDisc Forever is usually where we get a lot of our hot topics for. But there was a sale post for End of Days. And for anyone
it was the second posting. The first one started at 500.
All right.
Really?
The second one was at 460. And me being the mischievous moderator, found the post of when this person originally got it at the price they originally got it at, because somebody's like, oh, I saw one sold for this. And he goes, it was me. So he's asking, a profit on some disc that's already probably overpriced at what was paid.
Sure.
And I had fun with it. Needless to say, like, you're not going to get a premium price on Facebook. It's just not going to happen. And if you do, congratulations. But there's other markets for selling things like that, yes, you have to pay fees, but it's, well regarded, and you have buyer and seller protection. So
yeah, if you're a laser speculator and that's your thing, and you're looking to get some serious return on your investment, probably LDF isn't going to be the place for you.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, if you really don't want it, trade it for what you want, because you could probably get a pretty good trade out of it. But
yeah,
sales, you're going to have to go to eBay. There's just no other market for it, or maybe LDDB. But
yeah, LDDB is a ghost town, honestly.
I know, it's too bad, but I never even go into the forums. But yeah,
the buying and selling on there is still pretty active. But yeah, the forums in general, I think. Facebook groups kind of killed forums, like really did. It sucks, but it's true.
Yeah, so, I mean, LaserDisc Forever is the place, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. And I've noticed since I let the people in these days, we've had like a huge holiday rush of new people. I've been letting in 15 to 20 to 30 people a day. And these are like legitimate accounts. And I'm still blocking the ones who, created their account this week or today. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know if there's just an interest or it's the holidays or what the deal is, but there's.
I know I've been seeing some like I got a player for Christmas posts, that sort of thing.
That's wild.
Yeah,
and it's people all over the world too. Like I think we're starting to get a lot more of the fringes of the world. I hate to put it that way, but like places that like maybe LaserDisc was kind of a thing, or was it like rental only market or anything else? And so. That's kind of cool, but there hasn't been much drama again, which has been good. Like we haven't had the drama that we've had in the past. So
yeah, one thing came up recently, just within the past day or so, for anybody that's into just getting started on fixing players and stuff like that. It was brought up. Somebody had just picked this up, but you can still get the official Pioneer reference disc. It's still in stock. I bought mine from Pioneer directly before they started using pack parts to sell all their backlog of parts. And it's GGV 1069 is the part number, and it's just this little tiny 8-inch CAV disc. But it's great for it's got a crosstalk test and a lot of other things. It's got a whole kind of breakdown on the back there. And if you have any of the service manuals, and LDDB has a ton of service manual scans too. So most of the time you can find your model player there. If not, you might have to pony up for a few dollars from one of those service manual sites that make bank on them. But it's really cool release. It's pretty pricey, but I forgot how much I paid for this. It was a little ridiculous for a tiny little disc. But if you're getting into fixing players and you want to start like calibrating them, look for that.
It's like when I got my player, because as I'm sure you know, my main one, you can do computer control and all that fun stuff on.
Yeah.
So my mom worked at an office at the time. She took it upon herself to print out the entire programming manual for it.
Oh, snap.
So I still don't, it's all Yiddish to me, but it's still cool to have.
Can you like connect a barcode reader to it? I know some of the industrial ones you can.
I don't have it, but it has a barcode. It also has like some kind of serial port on the back. I forget which specific connection is. So
yeah, that's how it speaks to DOS computers.
Yeah,
at least I'm pretty sure it's DOS.
All right, so
more than likely,
when the pandemic's over, I'm going to come over. We're going to hook all that stuff up, and we're going to create Kelly LeBrock somehow. I've seen it in a movie. We can use this technology to make this happen.
If anything, I've actually we can use our modern technology to make her better.
All right, awesome. Whatever.
I want her in 4K, 60 frames per second.
I don't know if I can promise that. Yeah, we're just working with a barcode reader and a computer. Yeah.
It is my dream to somehow get a LaserDisc burner or writer or whatever they're called, and actually put together a panel about LaserDisc for a convention and use a custom LaserDisc with barcode reading. And so instead of clicking to the next slide, it's
Yep, use that. I mean, if you had an RLV like your 3M disc there, if you had the recorder for that, you could theoretically do it. There was the supposed guy in Germany who has one, but I don't know whatever happened, if that guy's still alive.
So freaking rare.
Yeah, so
I've seen a couple over the last decade. I've never seen anyone actually use it and then show us like the finished product.
Yeah, they're always pre-recorded back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, you have to figure the discs had an expiration date, so would they even record if they had a blank? Like,
I know. We need to find out.
Well, here's a fun fact.
That we'll never find.
Well, here's a fun fact, because I actually, when I went to Cleveland State University, I'm an anthropology major. Apparently, in the anthropology department and across like a lot of those fields, recording your stuff on LaserDisc was common practice. So he actually had a bunch of recorded LaserDisc stuff from field expeditions.
Oh, that's a trip.
Did he have the recorder or access to a recorder still?
Probably had access. I don't think we had one on site.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that would be a nice little find. You know, some mothballed LaserDisc recorder in some lab somewhere.
Yep.
I'm sure somebody's got one in a lab, but it may not work now or need like recapping or something else, because
probably
like all of that, it probably needs, lots of work.
Yeah, so basically we got to get our buddy Bill to recap it, and
1-900 Big Bill.
Yep. And hopefully, and yeah, that's a good question about the blanks, like how long they last, if they're if they're still viable. But I don't know. I'm intrigued. So
it's kind of like the threads that pop up once every 2 weeks. If you could put something on LaserDisc today, if they made LaserDiscs today, what would you put on it? That's what I think of whenever I see those recorders.
But that'd be cool to have an actual, like, something for a convention panel. Yeah, you could be like on a LaserDisc.
Well, I actually did a LaserDisc panel of a different kind, because like viewing rooms aren't so much a thing at conventions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to take it upon ourselves, where we called it, what was it, late night LaserDisc cinema, or late night LaserDisc theater. That was it.
Nice.
Where it was a 18+ panel. We had actually Devil Hunter Yoko was one of the ones we showed, and just everyone was getting into it. But it's kind of half viewing room, half, off the riff MST3K type stuff. So, me and Justin, my co-host, were cracking jokes, and then we have the audience participating. We had a cooler full of sodas in there.
Damn.
For people to grab.
You guys speaking my language. LaserDisc and soda. Yeah, I've done some LD viewing parties very similar at Retro World Expo, which of course didn't happen this year, but maybe next year. We'll see.
Yeah, I'd love to take my anime to like an anime convention and just go wild. I feel like people would really vibe with that. There's not enough people watching the classics as is, so
yeah.
Put a good Pioneer LDC dub in front of them. They'd have a good time.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'd go.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we were talking about forums and things like that, and we're always talking about LaserDisc forums, but are you guys part of any anime groups in Facebook? Are there any that are worth getting involved in?
Yes. Actually, I can plug a couple I'm into.
All right, cool.
First of all, it's actually, I got my thing open here. Yeah, it's the golden age of anime, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Ooh, I like it.
Vintage anime fans, and then they have a counterpart, vintage anime shit posting.
Well, you got to have the shit posting.
Yeah, all three are absolutely great. I recommend you go to them right now. They're big, but they're not cold and impersonal. And
cool.
The retro anime community on Facebook is just chill as fuck.
All right, nice.
I have never gotten into an argument on there that was any nastier than your favorite anime sucks and here's why.
You're
Which
like, all
is
right.
to be expected.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's got some valid points, I'm sure.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to go into it, but with all the social BS going on over the past however many years, those groups plus a couple others are the only reasons I'm still on Facebook.
Yeah, that's me with the LaserDisc group pretty much. Yeah, and just chatting with my pals. That's about it. Yeah, because it's pretty much a dumpster fire everywhere else. But I'm down to join one of those.
Yeah,
definitely join. I'm on there. I'm on all three frequently.
Cool.
See, I'm the opposite. My anime exists in a bubble, and I never pop the bubble. I don't talk to anybody about it. I don't mention to as many people as I can that I have it. I don't know. It's like I'm like weirdly protective of my space.
We'll add a optical fogging over your face, and we'll give you a witness protection.
I want my voice pitch shifted down 5 tones.
You also started collecting anime back in. We'll do it for you.
I got it in 2010.
I'm not gonna lie though, if you show up on any of those groups talking about your LaserDisc collection, that's some big dick energy right there. That's you walking up and going flop.
Yeah, well,
check out my member.
That's kind of the thing is like, in a group full of LaserDisc connoisseurs, I am a small fry. If I go somewhere else, if I show someone who's never heard of a LaserDisc, my LaserDisc room, it's like their mind just like, what? First of all, why the fuck?
Yeah.
Second of all, what the fuck? And then how the fuck?
Those are the stages. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm encountering lasers, and everyone loves the artwork, regardless of whether or not they think you're a complete psycho for collecting. Yeah,
But they usually think they're records first.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's one guy, I forgot what state he's in. He shows up in LDF every once in a while, but he's on eBay and he runs a store outside of a college that just caters to kids looking to. He sells LaserDiscs, but only as wall art, basically. You can buy them if you want to play them, and occasionally his site has some good deals. But yeah, he's like, all these kids just go in there and they buy these LDs and they just frame them. They never watch them.
Gross! I would rather die.
Oh, and that's with LDF. Like, everyone's like, what the hell? This is blasphemy. You should be viewing them, not framing them. And he's like,
I think by kids you mean hipsters.
Definitely hipsters. Yeah.
It kills me because when they move or whatever, it probably gets dumpstered, and it's the odds of them getting something rare that somebody wants are probably high. Like Step Monster probably was on someone's wall and got thrown away. And I had to wait 19 months to find a copy.
Complete series too, and they all get like split up and stuff like that. So if you are looking, like, he probably had like 1 through 12 of whatever series you want, but now he's just got like 7 and 3. You know, so yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things I like about those groups I mentioned too, because like it's not just like, you know, old fogies like us. There's a surprising number of young people who are like, yo, old anime is super cool. Tell me about it.
Nice. Excellent. You could just sit on your throne and be like, let me tell you a story, kids. Back in my day.
My freaking Anime Go anniversary t-shirt.
15 years of Anime Go, huh? Yeah, I was one of those dudes that ponied up when they dropped Macross on DVD, and it was like a Kickstarter. Before Kickstarter, you had to pay like $250, $300 for the DVD box set, and then wait until the day that they got around to making it. And I almost forgot I had invested in it by the time it rolled into my door, but yeah, love those guys.
that was like late release LaserDiscs. Enough people had to pre-order it just so that they'd manufacture it. Like what is it? There's Kimagure Orange or whatever. There was that
Orange Road.
Yeah. I'm gonna butcher the names because my Japanese is horrible.
But Duolingo, our sponsor, not really.
Working on it.
Yeah.
But like that was definitely like one of those, like, they made it for everyone that pre-ordered it.
Yep.
And then like End of Days, you know, they pre-ordered and then they short printed anyways. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's
wild how that turns out. Did you guys see on the group that Muse lot for $1,800? We were talking about how Facebook is not the right marketplace for that, but
Muse might sell, but yeah, like I don't know, like I just saw that posted. Yeah, like that's crazy.
Well, there was the one guy had just the Jumanji disc, which is like really late release Muse LaserDisc, so it literally goes for a lot of money, and he posted on LDF for sale, and everyone was freaking out, but you know,
somebody bought it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but it's just weird. A lot of those things end up being kind of like backdoor deals or networking, or you know, maybe through LDDB, or you know, a guy knowing a guy, just because you know sometimes they don't want to have to deal with the public freaking out over the cost of the things.
Yeah, because it's like $1,800. Yep. You know how much you could do with that instead of buying.
Well, that's why our friend Bill was toying with the idea of selling the bulk of his collection, because then he realized like I could actually transfer these discs into a 4K projector and all sorts of other modern stuff. And he's like, yeah, he was kind of on the fence about whether or not to go for it, but
it was Peter that just posted it, actually.
Is he selling?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's definitely not his entire collection. It makes me wonder if there's something else he wants.
Yeah, if he's selling his collection, he's up to something.
Yeah.
Peter's the black hole of high-end LaserDisc.
Well, he's willing to like take risks and venture into like unknown territory. He's the one who got us the eval board and the madness that has ensued. So kudos for that. Like,
he had a full Muse collection, sold it, and then rebought another Muse collection to replace the original one. So I'm sure he's like, whatever. He'll probably sell this, get something cool, and then buy it again in like 3 years or something.
He's the one that got me my HLDX9. with extra. I have an extra laser for it. I don't think there are any lasers anywhere now. So like, unless you have one squirrel away. So I mean, kudos to Peter, but yeah, he's probably onto something new. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I wish I could play with his kind of scale. I have an R7G,
that's a good player.
That's like the best low end player ever.
It's not even low end anymore. Like it's just like it's like a late release player basically.
Yeah, that's a decent player. You should definitely get one if you have access to Japanese players.
I bought it off of Zen Market and it was untested, and I sent it to a guy who came out of retirement. I was talking about this in one of our group chats earlier a couple weeks ago.
Was it Curtis?
Yeah, it was Curtis Barr.
Yeah.
Yeah. He literally was like, I don't do this anymore. And I was like,
except when he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but I will help you. And it's like, okay, I thought you were retired.
Yep. Yeah, he's always retired, except there was that one guy that lived near him and he ended up like fixing a ton of that guy's players. And he's like, I retired, but if you show up at my house at the right time and the moon is in the right spot in the sky, I'll fix your player, man.
Yeah, it was, and he was very straightforward. He did not like the way I packed my player, but it's already broken.
Fair enough. Yeah, Ryan had the delightful pleasure of having a bunch of stuff stacked on top of his player, so kind of caved in the top.
Ooh, yeah, it's still working on the first side. I shelved it for now. I will get back to it, but it's fine. I have enough other players that it's not essential, but I'd like to get it fixed because I do like the picture quality.
Yeah.
Of the HLD?
No, the HLD, but the R7G as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, the R7G is real nice.
Mm-hmm.
I sold off all of my other players because it's like, this is the peak. I don't need to go beyond this.
Yeah, it's got what you need. Yeah.
I mean, I have a 27-inch CRT. What else am I going to be able to get out of this with like an HLD X9 for like a grand or whatever? I don't know how much those go for anywhere. They were like a grand for a while.
2 or 3 last time I looked.
Yeah, that's the thing. They can, you can get them for a grand if you know the right people, maybe, or you find the right auction. But on the open
don't mind
market,
doing repairs.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah,
but they're a beast to repair because they're they're pretty high end and there's a lot of pieces on those.
Yeah, as I say, those have like the sandwiched motherboards, right?
Yep.
Something crazy like that.
Well, plus, like, what's shipping on one of those? Like, last I checked, don't they weigh as much as a small child?
Well, yeah, especially if you get the XO, which is even heavier than the X9. It's like,
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say my X9 sits on top of my S2, and my S2 makes my X9 look smaller.
it's a beast.
Yeah.
When I was young, I thought about buying into those players, but I just don't think my eyes, even at 25, I don't think I could see a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think if I want to get into Muse, that would be the only direction. But like, there's like those Sony Muse players that Peter and Bill found.
I got one.
Yeah, I imagine it's quite interesting. I'd love to just fuck around with one.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, and definitely really, really high quality. And you can get essentially in the same ballpark as an X0, but without having to invest in an X0. So, but then again, you get in the same situation with the limited amount of lasers that are available, and
and eventually a lot of these. I mean, I wonder what the timeline is for the end of players.
Well, that's why it's so much fun.
Think about it.
Because I mean, I always thought, like, back in the day, like, oh, these are going to be toast within 20, 30 years, and then now, it's all gravy now. There's all this extra time that I didn't even anticipate that these players had.
When I got my first player, which was a CLD 59 Elite in 2010. People on the LDDB forum and everything, they were like, yep, these are going to be gone in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Enjoy
it while you can. And it's like, I've got a player that was built, a year after I was born and it's still kicking. So,
yeah.
Well, it's funny. I like to, because like I brought up, why am I forgetting what the heck that's called? The capacitance CEDs.
Yeah.
I brought those up later and it's like, I like to joke. It's like, those actually degrade like normies think VHS degrades.
Yes.
But LaserDisc, on the other hand,
just keeps on trucking.
Yeah. I foresee a long future. I think that my LaserDiscs will outlast me at this point.
Yeah, because
that's what I'm banking on.
Let's be honest, like the ones that haven't rotted don't seem like they're going to. Or
I've got so many early 80s analog only anime LDs and they still look great.
Well, I mean, most of the rot seems to be caused by manufacturing defects. So if there wasn't that defect, there's no reason for them to rot.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was that terrible article that was like the glue in LaserDiscs are breaking down. It's like
it got posted again yesterday.
Just got posted. I was going to mention that. Thanks for bringing that up, Chris.
That article, I read that when it was first published, and I was just like, I have like 700 of these behind me, and they're not like falling apart like crappy sandwiches. Like, I'm like, I've got a couple of routers. You know, I have my eraser, and I have the fugitive routers for days, but like. I'm pretty sure that's somebody just trying to do a little bit of fear mongering.
Yeah, definitely.
And it never got like taken down or anything. So people do post it like once every 2-3 months.
Although I will say for anyone watching looking to collect anime on LaserDisc, avoid the American release of Record of Lodoss War on LaserDisc. They are notorious for disc rot.
All right, good to know.
Lensman is another one.
Yeah, thankfully my copy's fine, but
yeah, I've heard other people complain about Lensman rotting, but
mine's got like a couple of speckles, but it's not distracting enough to throw it out, but like it was noticed.
All right. Yeah, most of mine are pretty good. I've got a old Macross Do You Remember Love that's gotten a wee bit of speckling, but as far as I know, everything else is pretty good.
The problem I have is that I have so much stuff that I haven't watched, so there could be rot hiding somewhere in there.
Yeah, you'll find 10 years from now.
I may never know about it. Like, you know, I may sell my collection. That's kind of my thing is I've decided I'm going to sell my collection before right around the time that I retire so that people won't have to deal with it when I'm gone. And it's like, there's going to be discs in my collection that when I liquidate the entire thing that I just haven't watched. It's kind of like, you know, I'm never going to play every video game I've ever owned. It's not possible.
It's nice to have the option.
Yes,
it's there.
That's
I was like upstairs in my LaserDisc room. I have this whole shelf of just pre-1970s cinema, and it's like Jesus Christ, I'm never gonna watch most of this shit. It's
our buddy Spencer's like putting his fist in the air right now because that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, I know. And it's like I bought it with the intention of watching it, and then my life shifted. Don't teach and also anticipate watching hundreds of LaserDiscs.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I'm lucky. Like, even though I said I have like around 2,000, you know, tapes, LaserDiscs, DVDs, etc., I have at least watched the vast majority of them. But because my collection's so massive, my backlog is still like a couple hundred.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a good problem to have.
At one point, I had watched so many LaserDiscs in college that I had less than 15 discs that I hadn't watched in my collection.
Damn.
Huh.
It was the only time I'd ever been that. And then I bought a 500 disc collection like a week later. And it's like, holy shit, it's over. I'm never going to get through this.
Yeah, my old 90s collection, I think I'd seen every single disc. But then once you start getting lots, then it's game over.
Yeah, it was like I was getting to the point where it's like, all right, I haven't watched a very Brady Bunch movie. I guess it's time to watch this.
It's fun.
That's a good movie.
It was fine. I enjoyed it. I took it for what it was, but it's like now it's like, wow, I have a bunch of movies that are silent movies.
Yeah. Well, it's funny though. We're talking about you know, collecting anime on LaserDisc, especially getting lots, or even collecting anime in general. And we even talked about this in one of our episodes. Question: do either of you have Moldiver on LaserDisc, even if it's a single volume?
No.
I sold mine because I had no idea what it was.
Right, there we go. So one of you did. See, here's the thing about Moldiver. No one actually likes it. Like, I've only, in my whole life, I've only ever met one person who will admit to be a Moldiver fan. It's just when you collect anime, it finds its way into your collection. I have like a couple VHS and a LaserDisc, and I don't know where I got them.
It's like Frampton Comes Alive. Like, you just have it.
Well, yeah, you just have. Or like I joke, living in, I'm from Ohio. Being an Ohioan who listens to music, and if you have a vinyl collection, you are guaranteed to have at least one Meatloaf and or Gordon Lightfoot album.
Wait. What's wrong with Meatloaf? Like, I just want to know.
Oh, I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying if you live in Ohio and you listen to vinyl, you have it.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have Bat Out of Hell at least number 1 and probably number 2 now that there's a good reissue of number 2. Like,
I think I got it from my mom.
That. Yeah.
I managed to keep Meatloaf and Gordon Lightfoot out of my vinyl collection.
What's your address? I might.
Yeah, we're gonna send that to you right now.
Yeah.
Just at least some
I
loaf.
live at 123. Get the fuck out of my living room.
Meatloaf of the Month Club.
I actually have doubles of Bat Out of Hell on vinyl.
See, we got you covered.
Yeah.
I've never even listened to it.
It's actually a really good album.
Yeah,
it's basically rock and roll Broadway.
Yeah, it's epic.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bunch of theater nerds wanted to make a musical, but they couldn't get funding, so they just made an album.
Yeah.
Do you like the movie Streets of Fire?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen Streets of Fire.
Well, if you watch Streets of Fire.
Bubblegum Crisis?
Wait, what?
Do you like Bubblegum Crisis?
I've never seen Bubblegum Crisis.
We need to schedule a weekend and take care of this whole situation.
I'm off right now, but I'm already scheduled to watch anime.
All right.
I already own.
Watch Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah.
I just looked. I have 3 copies of Bat Out of Hell on vinyl. One is the regular first press.
Of course.
One is a picture disc because it looks cool.
Do you have like 180
and
gram repress?
I have the half-speed mastered one.
Oh, look
at the like 1980s CBS Master Sound or whatever
Fancy
it was.
pants.
So,
yes.
like,
but if you listen to them, could you perceive the difference?
The Master Sound ones do sound really good. The picture discs sound like shit because it was like one of the cheap like 1970s picture discs.
Oh yeah, those were never good.
Some of those half-speed masters are really nice if you have a setup that's nice enough to take advantage of it. If you're just blasting it on a Crosley, you might as well just throw it in the trash anyways.
There's always a point of the show where we talk about vinyl randomly, so we blame Mike this time. So
it's all good.
Good job, buddy. So I guess we should probably wrap this beast of an episode up with any kind of final thoughts and what you're planning on watching next. And I ran out of Lethal Weapon movies, so I'm probably going to start watching the anime discs that I was going to watch before this episode, but so I'm kind of at a backlog here. But I'm probably going to do some Area 88 that I got from Seth recently. So that's up next. What about you, Ryan?
I think I'm going to watch something off of that Ghibli box at some point, but I also have to, my wife wanted to watch Home Alone, so it's a toss-up between a classic and an anime.
Watch Totoro with the family.
I say the Ghiblis are classics.
Yeah.
Right.
And then watch Mononoke by yourself because it's a little bit more violent. So
I actually don't have that one. Like surprisingly, it didn't come in a collection yet. So
we'll get a copy for you. Yeah, they grow on trees.
I'll find one with an Obi. It's fine. I'm sure that there's 15 of them. But yeah,
cool.
How about you, Mike?
Not so much anime, but it's funny. Like I said, when I was digging through this stuff, I found a whole bunch of stuff I forgot I even had, which includes a LaserDisc copy of the 90s Shadow movie. So I'll probably be watching that.
Dude, I love that movie.
Because of the what was that?
No, I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
But yeah, of the like 90s pulp movies, that's the only one I haven't seen. Yeah, so I'm like,
Rocketeer.
I have this. Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. So hope you dig it.
Oh yeah.
What are you watching, Chris?
Not so much LaserDisc. I am about to finish the 4th and final season of the AMC program *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Oh, okay, nice.
I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that one, but it's about the computer industry. It follows a group of people that are immersed in the computer industry in the Southwest from the early 80s to the mid 90s. I've got the first volume of Tenchi Muyo queued up.
Nice.
To give that a shot because I've never watched it. I'm going to try and rewatch the first volume of Escaflowne.
All right.
I watched that. That's an anime, and I did not like it, but maybe I was just in a mood.
Give it a watch. It's actually one of my favorites from that time period.
Yeah, like I've got the full set, so it's like I might as well put some time into it. I'm going to keep watching Sailor Moon because...
God damn it, you like it.
Because every time she says moon, prism, power, makeup. I just go nuts. That music starts playing, and it's like, why can't I just wake up and shout, business, casual, power, makeup?
Keep trying.
Just
It'll
spin
happen.
around and dance, and then wait, and then come out the other end with a suit and tie on. You know,
I like your attitude.
But also, I work from home, so getting dressed is for scrubs.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna finish up a couple of programs, start a couple of new ones.
Cool.
That's kind of what's on my plate. I might buy the 4K of Akira.
That's actually, I just got a gift card for Best Buy from work, and that's pretty much what I just talked myself into buying.
Yeah, I got to see that one in theaters too.
Yeah, how do we not even talk about Akira like at all?
That's because I don't even have the box of Akira. I have that pressing of Akira.
This is my favorite one. Yeah, the
Kenobi.
box has the streamlined dub as well, so it's nice.
Yeah, it's mostly because I don't know where my copy of Akira is right now. Yeah. It's in one of the. My LaserDiscs are on 3 different floors, and they're poorly organized.
Yeah, there's that one too.
Boo! You can you thrown around that Criterion weight.
Yeah.
I could never.
I like this one better though.
Yeah, I've watched that one with subtitles. My computer fell asleep in the middle of it, and so I just bought the Blu-ray and finished it. And that's a nice, fun, loud movie.
Yeah, that's one I used to bring to college parties all the time when we'd watch with absolutely no subtitles and just kind of have a good time.
The dialogue isn't as important. That movie is about feeling and emotion, and it's very visual. So I feel like you could I feel like you could pretty much get the vibe of Akira without knowing the particulars. Like you just see those opening shots of the city set to that beautifully expansive, like drum heavy music. And
I recommend getting the soundtrack as well if you don't have it.
Oh yeah, I actually got that on sale.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy the 4K of Akira and watch that sometime this week. I've only finished the movie once, so
this is just your time. It's a gorgeous box set too, like that deep red kind of packaging, and
I hope that becomes a trend, that they'll start putting out more anime in 4K with the premium packaging. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Weathering with You.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah,
it's not a great movie, but it has a bitchin' $69.99 deluxe 4K Blu-ray that I bought, even though I don't like the movie, because eventually I want G-Kids to put out Princess Mononoke in 4K. So, you know,
that'd be nice.
I'm trying to bribe them by buying their weird, obscure movies
that you don't like. Yeah,
you know,
tactics. That's good.
Tactics and disposable income. What a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, gentlemen, and cracking your LaserDisc Wolfpack, cherries, so to speak.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And what's Maison Otaku's, like, can people just search that on YouTube, obviously, and find you?
There is another Maison Otaku. It's a French channel.
Oh, but we hate those guys.
Yeah. But yeah, just type in Maison Otaku, or you can find us on Facebook, Maison Otaku series, just Facebook/. Don't be worried by our last upload video date. Like I said, we're not dead. We're just on a very extended hiatus. But we have
you got a good backlog.
Yeah, we got like 40 some. Every episode is kind of like somewhere in between a video essay and a podcast. Mm-hmm. It's like 30 minutes to an hour each. We have 40 episodes of that and a whole crap load of short videos. So again, if you like classic anime and you just want to hear 2 nerds ramble on about it, we're your go-to.
Noted crazy people, Mike and Justin.
You're noted crazy people. And Culture Dog here actually has a spot in our channel trailer.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've kind of patted each other on the back with shout outs along the way. So I've been trying to proselytize for you guys and your channel since back in the day.
Greatly.
Hey, anything I can do to help the cause. You got anything you want to pimp, Chris? Tell people to come and learn from you or something? Or
no, I'm pretty low key these days. I used to be pretty active in LDF and the LaserDisc database forums, but I've kind of weaned myself off because I'm not going to say that I'm the biggest LaserDisc guy, but I've been immersed in LaserDisc for 10 years. I've been around. I've interacted with so many people and done so many things and jumped on so many weird bandwagons. I'm just kind of always lurking in the shadows.
All right.
And so
You're out there.
maybe you'll run into me again. You know, this was a lot of fun, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of like cracked the lid open on this thing. So if we want to do a deep dive and get into some other stuff, you guys are always welcome to hang out with the Wolfpack again. So
yeah, I'd love to come back. You know, I can talk about my hunt for late releases back in the day, and
cool.
And if you ever want to do a VHS episode, I'm your go-to because I have like hundreds of those damn things.
Yeah, I shouldn't do some branch out and do some VHS action at some points.
we don't have to let Mike come back, do we? I'm just messing with you.
Ryan just banned you. Yep. Too late. Yeah.
Ben Hammer.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody, and chatting about anime. And hopefully we've convinced our usual listeners that aren't into it, because there's always those people that are like, I'm not into that. But maybe we can convince them.
I'm not sure if we convinced anyone today.
I think we just amused ourselves, honestly.
That's cool. I'll settle for that.
It's my entire show, to be honest.
Yeah, you'll have to come back for my 8-part lecture on why anime isn't scary. It's just Disney cartoons with bigger eyes.
Yeah,
I like it. And yeah, Ryan's into it now. You were reluctant, right, at one point, right?
Yeah, like I literally just had Transformers, but I keep picking up cool stuff. Like, no joke. It's just like, oh, I need this Transformers, and I'm almost complete. But,
so
yeah.
Be like Ryan, branch out.
Yeah,
cool
I
stuff.
mean, you'll find cool stuff really cheap. Just keep like buying collections or searching half-price books or whatever else. Or if you're into the Japanese auction stuff, go for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm sitting over here on Zen Market trying to not lose all of my money.
Yeah. Keep it cool, man. Keep it cool.
Ah!
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. And of course, thanks to you guys for hanging out and chatting for 3 hours about anime. And that's it. It's another LaserDisc Wolfpack in the can.
Oh,
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.